Hello, everyone, and welcome in to Cape League TV. Chris Albright, Brooke Kilgore, Sorko Lewis, and Riley Lewis all joining me, Connor Shue, for this installment of Kettleers Baseball. It's Game 10 this season. They're 2-7, hosting the Chatham Anglers the second time they'll face off. The Anglers 2-5-2, coming off of a 7-7 tie with Harwich yesterday. The Kettleers coming off of a dominant 6-2 victory over the Brewster Whitecaps, the leaders of the East Division. Chris, that was one heck of a way to get back into the win column for the Kets.
I mean, the Kettleers were looking for an opportunity to stop the slide. They came into the game against Brewster yesterday on a 6-game winning streak. Or excuse me, it's a 6-game losing streak, and they desperately needed something to kind of right the ship. And yesterday, it was a really good all-around performance from the Kettleers. 6 runs on 8 hits, only 1 error, kept it clean in the infield. And the only error was, it was a tough play for Ryan Farber to make over at the hot corner. So you take that away, and it was just a perfect game from that standpoint. And then pitching, really doing a good job too, only allowing Brewster 4 hits. And the credit to the offense for Cotuit, they took advantage of some errors. Brewster had 4 errors. But that wasn't the reason why Cotuit won the game. It wasn't because of those 4 errors that the Kets won. It's because the Cotuit bats and the Cotuit pitching capitalized on those moments, capitalized with runners in scoring position, had great plate discipline. That's what won the Kets the game. And it was truly an all-around good team performance.
Kettleers had 8 hits, and they only left 5 on base, one of their best marks this season, and a real welcome change for them after leaving 16 on against Bourne a few days ago, earlier on in this week. But got to give credit to James Hayes coming out there and shoving after a tough first outing last week against Harwich. He went 4 2/3 with 2 runs allowed, only 3 base runners, and 7 punch-outs for the Stetson right-hander.
I mean, James Hayes was absolutely shoving, as they say. He was dominant up on the mound. It did take him a little bit to get settled in. He did go 3 up, 3 down in the first. The second danced around a little bit of trouble. That is when Brewster scored their first run of the game. But here, take a look at this stat. Over the final, I'm not good at math. I'm trying to count it up in my head. In the final 9 batters that James Hayes faced, 7 of those were punch-out outs. He struck out 7 of his final 9 batters faced. That is how you close out a performance. That's how you extend into the game and allow your team not to have to go to the bullpen. James Hayes did what every starter hopes to do, and that set his team up for success.
And we talked to Lauren Hibbs on the coach's show earlier today about that start, and he said in the first one, Hayes was maybe looking a little too far ahead, 2 or 3 pitches ahead, trying to overcomplicate things, maybe you could say. But yesterday, he was more focused on just making 1 pitch at a time, and you could tell that with his arsenal that he brought out again. 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3, and then Cole Carlone and Tyler Albanese closed it down.
Yeah, good arms to pull from a bullpen. Both Carlone and Albanese able to really eat up those innings, and perhaps we'll call it. I mean, I think it is. It was Albanese's best outing of the season. He had some trouble his first couple of appearances out on the mound, but this past game for him, just phenomenal stuff from Albanese. 6 up, 6 down over his 2 innings of work. It wasn't until the last batter that he got his first strikeout, but to close out your night with a dominant performance like that, I mean, that just summed up how the Kets were doing.
It was pretty incredible, and they were helped out by a nice hitting performance across the board, especially from the bottom of that lineup. P.J. Mutsaritas batting 8th, Luke Lavin batting 9th, and Anderson French batting 6th. All 3 of those guys had 2 knocks, a couple doubles, 1 for French, 1 for Mutsaritas. And those 2 guys hadn't played in a few days, both battling some slight injury troubles, but came in and just played good ball.
That they did. Good ball, I mean, might be a bit of an understatement knowing that they came into this game with a few days of rest. They had to knock the rust off. That was a little apparent, especially for Mutsaritas. He started the day 0 for 2. But then in his last 2 at-bats, went 2 for 2. Both times he came around to score. So when Mutsaritas was able to get on base, he was able to dance around the base paths, took advantage of a stolen base, just really aggressive on the base paths. So to bring that caliber, bring that catalyst into the lineup as well, that was a big sigh of relief for Cotuit, who had been missing a couple of guys, regular everyday guys in the lineup.
and those were two of them. Jack Natilli was out of the lineup yesterday in place of him, and then the infield was able to shift back to normal with Mutsaritas at his natural shortstop. Ryan Farber was able to get back to third base. Camden Johnson could go back to left field, and Advincula stays at second, and I think that was a restoring force for the entire team.
Yeah, when you can play in a position that you're familiar with, that will help you settle in a little bit better. We had talked to Lauren Hibbs earlier today, and he talked about the consistency of having guys play their natural positions and how some injuries or resting different players hadn't allowed for that up until these past couple of games. So you could really tell everyone was confident and comfortable where they were playing. Ryan Farber can play pretty much anywhere in the infield, no question about it. But he looks comfortable at third base. He looks comfortable at short. So when you're moving him all around, especially game by game, and he's not really settling in, you do get a good performance out of him. But when he's able to settle in, just like Mutsaritas at short or Vincula at second, when those guys play where they typically do, they look so much more comfortable.
Instead of the field, Chris, how do the Kettleers look in the lineup card?
Lining up for the Kettleers, so it's a little bit of a different look. A couple guys, making their returns back to the lineup today. Leading off for the Kets, Jaron Advincula, he's been a consistent force. Andrew Wiggins, he's batting second. Farber's batting third. Nolan Stevens, Anderson French, and Camden Johnson make up that middle part of the lineup. And then this is a very dominant bottom third on the Kets lineup. Rentaro Sasaki bats seventh, Ryan Jaros bats eighth, and Easton Winfield wraps up the lineup to have Sasaki, Jaros, and Winfield at the very tail end. That is a good slingshot into the top of the lineup as well.
Especially with Winfield batting ninth, the leader in OPS for the Kettleers this summer. One of the best batting average guys for the team as well, hitting .263 coming into this game. But they're going to hit second, so what do the Anglers look like on the card?
This will be how the Anglers step up to the plate today. A couple familiar faces that we saw when the Kettleers took on Chatham just a couple of days ago. Leading off for Chatham, Henry Ford hitting from the one spot. Chase Freilich and Gavin Gallagher make up 2 and 3. Ace Reese, Daniel Jackson, and Ethan Mendoza are 4, 5, and 6. And then the bottom third for Chatham, Jackson Freeman, Isaiah Lane, and Jake Hanley. A lot of righty-lefties in this lineup. A lot more than you'll see from Cotuit, where it's pretty left-handed heavy. This split for Chatham, fairly even. You have 4 lefties and 5 righties.
It's a really even split, and that's generally what you're looking for in your lineup, a nice, even group of batters, at least so you can bring some type of mix out that plays well against whatever pitcher's on the bump. And that man for the Kettleers, Peyton Manka.
Manka getting the starting nod today. This will be his second appearance of the season. Manka's 6'6", 255, where he just wrapped up his freshman year at Florida State University. He was a Knoll, and at Florida State, he amassed a 6.56 ERA over 23 1/3 innings pitched. Allowed 17 hits, 17 earned runs, so did have a good amount of traffic on the base paths when he was dealing out there. 16 walks compared to 24 strikeouts. That's not a bad ratio. And this season, he's continued some solid numbers. In just 3 innings pitched, he's allowed no runs, only 2 hits, 3 walks to 1 strikeout. So seeing how he was averaging a strikeout per game at Florida State, you have to think that those strikeout numbers are coming for him later on. Should see some in his start today.
A nice 4-pitch mix for him. We'll see how it plays against the Chatham Anglers, who beat the Cotuit Kettleers just a few games ago, like you said, 4-2, and that was a real heartbreaker on the Kets side, Chris.
Well, it was a back-and-forth game for a majority of it. Both teams kind of scoring a run apiece back and forth. In fact, going into the 7th inning, Cotuit was up 2-1. Kettleers could not score another run in that contest. Chatham scored a run in the 7th and then 2 runs in the 8th. Did not need to hit in the 9th as they were the home team. So Chatham really blew the doors open towards the end of that one, but it was a fairly even matchup. Both teams had 6 hits apiece. Chatham had an error, Cotuit had none. So a very even matchup. 2 teams that are still trying to fight up this win column in this season. Should be another even matchup. And if it's anything like the first, it will be a fun day for baseball.
Sure will. Here's how the standings look in the West. Hyannis leads 6-2-1. They've already seen the Kettleers once. Bourne 4-5-1. They beat the Kettleers on a walk-off win in the 9th the other day. Wareham 4-5. The first win for the Kettleers this season. Falmouth 3-6 have yet to play them, but we'll see them next week twice. And then Cotuit bringing up the rear 2-7, but they are surging. Now to the East, YD leading 6-2-1. Then Brewster just behind them 6-3, but they've dropped 3 straight. Then it's Harwich 5-3-1 right in the middle. Orleans 4-5. They're 2-0 against the Kettleers. And Chatham at the bottom as well. 2-5-2. So they've had some tough late inning luck with games getting, I guess, ended soon due to some lightless fields and the 10-inning rule here in the Cape. Unfortunate, but you take what you can get.
And Chatham has certainly been taking what they can get. And the Anglers have had a lot of good fight. You look at their late game work, that win against Cotuit really lit up the scoreboard come the final 3 innings. In the game against Harwich yesterday, it was a 10-inning affair. Going into the 10th inning, the two teams were tied 3-3. So then you ask, how did the score end up 7-7? Well, each team scored 4 in their respective half of the 10th frame. I mean, that Chatham was the home team, so to have that fight, to have the team come into the 10th inning, put 4 on the scoreboard, and then not get at all affected by it, to just keep your head down, keep barreling, and then score 4 of your own, that is just an incredible, incredible mindset to have if you're the Anglers, and those wins will come as the season goes on, so there's no need to worry about it too early in this season.
We'll see if they can bring it here in a moment. First pitch up next after the national anthem here at Lowell Park. A great anthem performed as we get back to baseball here at Lowell Park. And the final thing that we have an outline for the top of this first inning, Chris, how does the defense look for Cotuit?
For Cotuit today, like we mentioned, saying their lineup, there's a couple of changes, but some familiar faces in familiar places. The infield from first base to third, Ryan Jaros gets the nod at first. It's Avincula and Farber in the middle infield, and Johnson is at the hot corner. Outfield from left field to right, Andrew Wiggins, Easton Winfield, and Nolan Stevens getting the catching duties today. Anderson French.
French, the backstop for the first time in almost a week. He was the designated hitter yesterday and went 2 for 4 with a double I'm sure Cotuit fans are excited to see what he can do with the stick and behind the dish today. But back to Chatham, Henry Ford leading off the right field, the right-handed batter. Playing center field today. He's in the transfer portal from Virginia. A coveted bat in the portal, hit over 300 each of his 2 years there. So we'll see what he can do against the lefty, Peyton Manka. 3 scoreless innings and 1 appearance for him this summer was not a start. I think that's probably what you expect from him, though. 3 to 4 innings of solid work, strike a couple guys out, and just make your way through it and give your team a chance to win.
Yeah, it would be great to see him from a starting standpoint today, to see how he really commands the game from the get-go. This is now Cotuit's 6th difference starting pitcher. I've been relying on a couple of names a couple of times. So Manka, the latest Kettleer to get the starting nod, and he's one of the few lefties on this team. So Cotuit, if you're looking for a left-handed pitcher, you're primarily going to see them starting a game, and Manka is no different.
Manka, along with other left-handed starters like Kenton Deverman in this staff, he'll probably get a start the next time out against YD on Friday after the off day. Tomorrow on Thursday, it's the rare 2 off-day week for the Kettleers. So much needed rest for those guys after a tough start to the season. And they're starting to get it going, though. Again, the 6-2 win last night over in Brewster. That is a confidence builder if you ever seen one, especially after getting 8 hits and leaving 16 stranded on base against Bourne a couple of nights before that.
Yeah, the confidence boost that the win last night provides is hopefully something that the Kettleers can ride a high on for a little bit after some really close games to start the season. It was the first game where the Kettleers truly looked like the team that everyone thought they would be.
Ford has reached the batter's box, preparing to step in against Peyton Manka. Manka, 23 1/3 innings pitched at Florida State in his redshirt freshman season, missed the whole 2023 campaign or 24 campaign with an injury. He rocks and delivers a first pitch ball outside. So starts him off with a fastball in the lefty-righty matchup. It's Ford, Freilich, and Gallagher, righty, lefty, righty, to start things off. Manka the fire. Up and out again. It's 2-0. So first pitch today, 5:03 local time at Lowell Park. About 85 degrees, sun bearing down on the field. Nowhere to hide in any shadows. First strike of the count for Manka.
It's been a couple of warm days here on Cape. Hoping to see it cool down at least a little bit.
Again, your park dimensions, 320 to the corners, 397 to dead central. Count evens at 2-2.
Now, in the previous game between Chatham and Cotuit, Henry Ford worked 2 walks, so he's able to work a high count.
3-2. Manka went with breaking stuff on the 2-2 count. No offer from Ford, a patient bat. Last night he went 1 for 5, drove 1 in. Rocketed up the middle. Nice pick by Advincula. Fires it to first in time. Nice stretch up top by Jaros to retire Ford.
That's a guy who's been playing his position for a while, and then Jaros, who's kind of been thrown into this first base position, and Advincula can look like a seasoned veteran out at second base. He'll make plays look easy when they're very clearly not. And then Jaros able to warm up to his first base position early in this one.
Advincula with a nice pluck. Jaros with one of his own over at first, typically at the hot corner. This is Chase Freilich, the first left-handed batter of the lineup. Catcher out of Auburn. Went 1 for 4. Walked, did strike out 3 times last night. No offer on the low pitch. Plenty of foliage behind the outfield wall here at Lowell Park. Not too many people out there, though. The heat just a little bit too much for the Cotuit locals today, I guess. And that's fair. I mean, we're sweating up here, and we can only imagine how the fans out there in the sun are feeling.
Yeah, shade is a hot commodity here today. In fact, the only people really in the outfield are tucked underneath the trees.
Get me over fastball makes it a 3-1 count. And the bleachers with the reinforced wood in left field are the most crowded area of the park. They're all under the shade. 3-1's in there as well. And the bleachers in right, a little more sparing attendance. All the fans out there have their own, well, fans, among other things, to try and keep them cool. Still some action down the first and third base lines. Fans with their chairs. Caught him looking. First strikeout for Peyton Manka.
Yeah, we knew coming into this game that Manka's strikeout numbers would start to be much like his college strikeout numbers. Only 1K in his first 3-inning outing. And here we are, just 2 outs into this game, and he's already got himself a punch-out.
Now it's Gavin Gallagher, the North Carolina Tar Heel. Ace Reese on deck, Daniel Jackson in the hole for the Chatham Anglers. Watches a first pitch strike. Gallagher hitting 320 at-bats this summer. Only one for extra bases, a double. The 0-1, down low.
Gallagher was the go-ahead run when Chatham beat Cotuit. He scored in the bottom of the 8th. And that really opened the game up for the Anglers. They would hold on to win that one.
Cracked foul. Do it again. These teams played last Thursday. Chatham got the advantage 4-2 in Chatham. Mason Bixby, the winning pitcher. Tyler Albanese lost that one. It was his first multi-inning outing, and he got tagged for a couple of runs. Really reined it in yesterday, though. The 1-2 upstairs. Cole Carlone got the start that day, punched out 5 in 2 innings. Wyatt Halverson had a nice 2 2/3 inning outing out of the pen. Charlie Walker came after him, then Albanese. Lace on the ground towards third. Nice stop by Johnson. The throw in time. Couple of web gems helped the Kettleers retire the side in order in the top of the first. Due up in the bottom half. Jaron Advincula, Andrew Wiggins, Ryan Farber for the Kettleers here on Cape League TV. Leading off for the Kettleers, Jaron Advincula. Then it's Andrew Wiggins and Ryan Farber. The man they're facing, a left-hander, Mason Peters.
Peters on the season, 4 innings of work, allowed 4 earned runs and 6 hits, trying to limit that here today against the Kettleers.
Cracked out to left, that's tailing foul. It's out of play, 0-1 count. Mason Peters from Dallas Baptist worked 42 1/3 this year. 58 strikeouts. Not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Here comes his own one. Hit high softly. That's going to sink for a base hit. Jaron Advincula leads off with a single.
Well, that was a good piece of hitting, technicality-wise, for Advincula. It was a breaking ball in and at the hands, and Advincula was able to keep his weight back, and then when the ball came in, he just kept his swing nice and compact. That's why it shot opposite field, and that's the type of big league hitting that Jaron Advincula possesses. He doesn't just hit for contact. He's able to do it in such a way that he can really challenge a pitcher.
The former Cape League batting average leader is on first for Andrew Wiggins. Watches a looping curveball strike. Wiggins in the portal out of Indiana was not in the lineup yesterday, but worked 3 walks a couple of starts ago. That was against Hyannis. Here comes the 0-1. Pulls back his bunt.
Advincula very aggressive on the base paths. He leads the Kettleers in stolen bases, and a lot of them are on his timing. Talked with Lauren Hibbs, and he did say that Advincula knows how to time up a left-handed pitcher.
Bunt placed nicely down the third base line. The throw from Gallagher is in time, and Advincula advancing to third. There was no one there. The heads-up base running of Jaron Advincula. He goes on his own time.
That is not just big league hitting from Jaron Advincula. That's big league base running, too. It's just been such a well-done inning for Cotuit right now. They're piecing together the hits. That one was a perfect bunt that was down the third base line, drew the third baseman Gallagher in, and Advincula didn't even stop running when he hit second. He saw the free bag, no one around, and just took it.
And that's exactly what Cotuit fans have come to expect out of him. Smart base running and good contact hitting. Here's Ryan Farber. One of the leaders in average this summer for the Kettleers. He's hitting at a 258 clip. Was up over 300 a couple of games ago. 2-game hitless streak for him. He hit in 6 of the first 7. The Auburn commit. Scott Advincula on third. Watches a strike. Farber a deep breath back into the box. Peters in some early trouble. Kettleers looking to get an early lead. Cracked high and foul over the right side. It's 1-2.
The Kettleers dugout is significantly louder than it has been in previous games. A lot of guys shouting words of encouragement to Advincula on the base paths, more importantly, Farber, who's up to bat. So a very team dynamic here today for Cotuit.
They're all in support. Feeling pretty good after the win yesterday. I think Lauren Hibbs said they've united more as the season has gone on, and it's tough in summer ball. You're going and meeting a lot of these guys for the first time, unless you played with them in college. Maybe you've crossed paths with some people a couple of times as that's popped on the ground. That's going to score Advincula. Throw to first is in time. Farber does his job and gets Advincula in for the first run for the Kets.
Well, that was a run that was built from the beginning. Advincula, the leadoff man, reaches base. Wiggins advances him on a sacrifice bunt. And Advincula, with the heads-up base running, able to get to third. You really manufactured that run, and it's an important first run for the Kettleers.
And when you have Jaron Advincula leading off every day, you have the opportunity to do that almost all the time. Now it's Nolan Stevens, the Oklahoma commit, digging in. Nice take outside. He had a 4-walk day against Bourne, but a little struggle yesterday. 3 strikeouts, 2 of them looking. Hits that one back to the screen right in front of us. Heck, there was no fence there. That would have been right to my face.
I turned around for a brief moment. So if I wasn't looking, I would have hoped that you would have gotten it for me. You would have caught that ball.
Well, I'm gloveless right now, Chris, so I think my face would be a little rough after that one. I don't know if that would have gotten to the hand.
Well, so we'll start bringing our gloves even here for home games. You never know.
You never do. It would be really tough to get one in our position, but we can dream. Counts 1-2. Peters deals, spiked in there. Stevens committed to Oklahoma from Mississippi State, hit .320 there last season. Has some pop to the gaps. Taken just outside. Fred DeJesus, the home plate umpire, says ball 3. He's joined by Vinny Mariani at first and Tom Augusta at third. Here comes the payoff pitch. Bounced on the ground, hard one for the shortstop. It bounced off the base, and that was thrown away. I think that'll be an infield single for Stevens because that one got past short. And the second baseman had to make a tough play.
Well, Stevens was pretty much at first base when that throw was over there, and the reason why he was able to is that ball took a funky hop off second base. The shortstop, Isaiah Lane, couldn't play it, but good backup from Mendoza, who was at second base. He was able to range over and field that ball, but second base really caused that ball to bounce just very sporadically.
Now it's Anderson French, one of the heroes of yesterday's game. He missed a homer by maybe a foot. Skied one out to right field and just bounced off the base of the wall that was maybe 4 or 5 feet high.
It would have been Cotuit's first home run of the season. They're the only Cape League team that does not have a home run.
That was skied, and Stevens will trot into second with no trouble.
We've seen Peters rely a lot on those off-speed pitches and breaking balls early in this one. That one looked like a fastball. He just reared back a little too much.
Mason Peters going to take a second before he gets back on the slab. He's got a runner behind him, Stevens. And he's down in a 2-0 count against Anderson French, the Virginia Tech backstop. 3-0. Really got to gut this one out even with 2 outs. French is ready, as is Peters. Here comes his 3-0. And there, a called strike. Mason Peters looking for the strikeout stuff he had at school. Here comes the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Peters is starting to rein it in. Full count to French. Here it comes. Hit high out to left center field. Coming into play it is the left fielder, Reese. Retiring the side, not before Cotuit scores 1. That'll bring up the top of the second. Ace, Reese, Daniel Jackson, Ethan Mendoza, the middle of the order, 4, 5, 6, due up for the Anglers on Cape League TV. 0-1. Here it comes. Rips it to right field, foul. That's the type of contact you're looking for if you're Reese.
Yeah, he's got that contact. 8 for 28 on the season, does have a home run. 5 RBIs as well.
Reese homered in yesterday's game. Swings and misses. Second strikeout for Pagan Manka.
Manka is looking very comfortable out on the mound to start this game. We've seen it in the past couple of games for Cotuit, where the starting pitcher needs an inning or two to really settle into their groove. Manka doesn't need that inning or two. He's been able to do it from the get-go. It's 4 up, 4 down for him. But Daniel Jackson, who's now digging in, this, like we mentioned, will be a very big test.
Nearly slashing 300, 400, 500, which is, I think that's the core line of a great hitter. But he's hitting 292, 455, 542 is the Georgia catcher / outfielder's line. The 1-0 pitch to him. Watches it. A ball.
So it's not just a comfortable 400 for the on-base person, or excuse me, it's not just 400 for the on-base percentage, it's a comfortable 400. In fact, he's trending towards the 500, which would mean he's getting on base 1 out of every 2 at-bats.
He's getting close to another free pass this time. He's got 6 on the season, 7 base knocks, been hit by 2 pitches. Strikeouts have been up for him, 12 of those already, but it's negated by everything else. Here's the 3-0. Low 4-pitch walk for Jackson, the first base runner of the day for the Anglers.
Well, when you're able to work those walks and you're able to swing for some power, those strikeouts, I mean, as much as they're a factor, they aren't really in play. I mean, to have him be reaching via a walk just as much as he is reaching via a hit, that's just as good of a tool for him to utilize.
Now it's Ethan Mendoza, the at-bat leader for this team, has started every single one for the Anglers. He's come up to the bat 40 times now. First pitch strike, Manka getting back on the board.
Mendoza actually leads the Cape League in at-bats this year. He is quite the workhorse.
9 hits, a double, and a homer. Laces it out to right center field. Is that going to get down in the gap? No! Nolan Stevens chasing it down for the catch.
Stevens has looked extremely athletic out in right field for the Kettleers all season. Good hustle on him. Able to cover a lot of ground. The Kettleers have 3 outfielders right now that can really extend their range. 3 very quick feet, quick pairs of feet, I guess.
Manka to another left-hander, Jackson Freeman, the right fielder from Northwestern. Outside corner, a ball with that, or a strike with that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Freeman, one of the better bats in the order for the Anglers, 259 average, couple of doubles on 7 hits. Manka staring down first. Jackson is a threat to steal, leads the Anglers with 3 stolen bags. He's got a nice little lead over there at first. But Manka sees him the whole way. He goes. Throw down, the slide. That one tails way into the outfield. But the center fielder, Winfield, got on it quickly. Jackson will stay at second. Oof.
I mean, we got a good bird's eye view of that throw as we're sitting right behind home plate. All the credit in the world to French for trying to make a quick pop and get it down there. That ball started immediately off the hand going into right center field. But a good backup from the center fielder, Winfield, didn't allow Jackson to advance any further than second.
That's an anomaly for French. Think that one just slipped off the hand.
Well, French has also taken some time away from the dish. He came into this wanting to be a catcher. He primarily plays catcher in college. He had seen a couple of games at first base, and now with Lavin not playing, he's back behind the dish.
They had the hit and run on. Jackson was on his way to third, unsuccessful on the foul tip. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the second inning. 1-0 Cotuit. Runner on second is Daniel Jackson. Freeman looking to bring him home. Hits one to the same spot, foul. Watch your car. Do it again at 2-2. Jackson Freeman. Northwestern this year held a .255 batting average. 6 homers, drove in 40 runs. Looping curveball stayed high. 3-2.
You know, I will correct myself. I thought French had played more catcher at Virginia Tech than first base. He actually started more games at first base for the Hokies than he did catcher.
Is listed as a catcher on their website. Here comes the 3-2. Low. Ball 4. It's a close one.
Only 2 base runners on the day for the Anglers, both via a walk. So Manka's doing a good job of limiting the contact. Just more so the command. In his first outing, he did have 3 walks to only 1 strikeout. So that was an issue that was a thorn in his side, I guess you could say, for that outing, which was otherwise near perfect.
Here comes Isaiah Lane in the 8-hole. He was in the middle of the order hitting 5th as he skies that on the infield. Advincula's looking up at it. Easy play for out number 3. 1-0 Cotuit still leads going into the bottom of the second, where they'll bat Camden Johnson, Rentaro Sasaki, and Ryan Jaros. That is 6 through 8 in their order. That's coming up next on Cape League TV. Camden Johnson's the man up to lead off the inning for the Kettleers, batting 6th. Then it's Rentaro Sasaki and Ryan Jaros. Our public address announcer, Roy Weiss, put it perfectly. Johnson made a sparkling play at third to end the top half of the first inning for the Kettleers.
Sparkling was a great word for it. Full extension on a dive to snag a baseball that was over to his left.
Naturally a right fielder, well, naturally a little bit of everything. We'll have to look at the exact splits.
Naturally a utility guy, you could say.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, I pulled it up. Utility is the right word for what he does. He has reps at third, second, short, left field, just generalized outfield. Primarily third base at Wichita State, but shortstop was a close second.
43 games at third, 12 at short this past year with the Shockers. We'll see where he slots at Oklahoma next year. Low pitch makes it a 3-1 count.
Fenway Day, Johnson was taking infield and outfield reps during the fielding segment of the scouting, showing off for the MLB scouts in attendance.
He was looking good in the field. Outside corner, Johnson almost tossed the bat away. Mason Peters trying to get a first batter out. Jaron Vincula, the leadoff man last inning, singled off him. Peters with an elite breaking ball. Head coach of Dallas Baptist, Dan Hefner, said about him. That's punched out to left field. It's going to sink for a base hit. Johnson chugging around first. He's digging for two, and he's in there with a feet-first slide. A leadoff double off the bat of Johnson, his third of the season.
He has been an extra base hit machine for Cotuit, and the Kets have really become an extra base hit machine of their own. They only had one through the first 7 games. One extra base hit through 7 games, and in the past, we'll now call it 3 games, 7 extra base hits. And that's including today.
4 of them against Bourne. Johnson's not afraid to steal over there on second. He's already tried to take third a couple of times in the past few games. Has 3 stolen bags on the young summer. Rentaro Sasaki digs in. He was out of the lineup yesterday. Starting in the 7-hole, the designated hitter. Got his first Cape League knock back on Sunday against Bourne, a game-tying RBI double in the later innings. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. One and one is the count. Mason Peters, the Dallas Baptist left-handed pitcher. And that's a bulk on Peters. Took a quick step off to peek over at second. His shortstop Lane was calling to throw back, and it caught Peters off guard, so Johnson's going to get third.
Well, that's what the Kettleers have been doing, especially as of recent, dancing on the base paths, getting those those primary leads that sometimes extend into what would be a secondary lead level.
Cracked on the ground towards short. That will score Johnson easily. Sasaki digging for first, throws in time to get him out. But he brings home the second run of this game, and that's how the Kettleers like to do it. Get a guy around to third and ground him in there.
I will say, as much as that was just a routine grounder, Sasaki, who is a fairly big baseball player, I mean, 285, 6 foot flat, he was hustling. I mean, hustling down that first base line, trying to leg it out, but he did what he was supposed to, and that's bring the man on third home. Johnson now the second run for the Kettleers.
He has some speed down the line. 8-hole hitter Ryan Jaros hasn't really started since the early games of the season, the first few. Hasn't played at first this season either. Jaros 1 hit with the Kettleers in 12 at-bats. Checks that was in there anyway.
I mean, you talk about a guy who's another utility man. Second base, third base, left field, right field, center field. He's played it all. But at Georgia Tech, he played 1 game as a first baseman, and that's been the extent of it.
High shot into the outfield, giving away for the right fielder to make the grab. Freeman was Mendoza, 2 down. But Jaros in the Atlantic Collegiate Baseball League with South Jersey played right field, left field, third base, and second base. So that was his most unique summer. He actually played a game in center for Cotuit this summer.
We'll see. Is he trying to play everywhere? I mean, he could be a guy. There's a lot of guys on this Cotuit roster that could play every position probably.
It's possible. There's a lot of guys with a lot of range. Easton Winfield can play around the outfield. The man at the dish right now has played left and center this summer, primarily out there in the middle, though. He's got a 1-1 count against Mason Peters. No one on base. 2-0 ball game. Ketts lead. Shot fell. Bottom of the second, he's got a 1-2 count.
You weren't laughing? The sound effects guy played the, what is it, crashing glass sound effect? Like
yeah.
Mimicking that ball hitting a parked car. I thought it was humorous.
The 1-2. Lifted high into very shallow center. Played easily, actually, on the infield by the shortstop Lane. Easy one for Mason Peters. Did allow a leadoff run to Camden Johnson, but retired the rest to go to the top of the third. You'll see Hanley, Ford, and Freilich for the Anglers next on Cape League TV. It's a 2-0 ball game entering the top of the third. Peyton Manka towing the slab against Jake Hanley. The number 9 hitter, first pitch strike to him. Hanley from Indiana. Really strong bat there in his freshman campaign. Socks that one foul high off to the left. But Hanley back to his performance. His Big Ten Freshman of the Year, second team All Big Ten, first team freshman All-American, 14 bombs on a .333 batting average, not to mention an OPS north of 1,000.
Wow.
And lo and behold, when you look at his best games, he had 2 homers against Ohio State. How about that?
Are you familiar with that school and that team?
Well, I went there for a few years. 1-2. Hit right up the middle. Base knock for Hanley.
Hanley came into this one only 2 hits on the year. One of those was a triple, so he's able to put bat to ball when he can make contact, and that one was just a pure shot up the middle.
Good contact ability, good power in his bat, and he showed both. That was a hard shot up the middle. Turns over the lineup card to Henry Ford, grounded out to second his first time up, and Jared Vincula made a really nice play to get him out. Rocked out to left field. That's going to get down. Back-to-back base hits for the Anglers, that time Henry Ford.
You know, piecing together hitting is what you have to do. Just like how the Kettleers were getting the leadoff man on, that leadoff man would come around to score. Chatham trying to do the same thing here, and when you have the meat of your lineup coming up, 2, 3, 4, all these guys are able to put power on the ball. You don't want to tail down towards the Ace Reese and Daniel Jacksons with runners in scoring position, because those guys have already demonstrated long ball capability.
Tim O'Connor, Ket's pitching coach, made a quick jaunt out to the mound. And I can hear you uncorking the binoculars. It's time to see if there's action in the Kettleers bullpen.
Oh, the Velcro gave it away. There is There is some action down there in the Kettleers pen. Just a soft warm-up going for Preston Kroll. He's not really working from the mound or doing anything hard throwing, more so just warming up the arm.
I think they're looking for 3 out of Manka.
Would match what he did his first outing. To get a couple of 3-inning performances, that's always good. These inning reps are so hard to share in a summer league like the Cape just because there's so many arms with great talent coming in and out where you really can only pencil yourself in for a couple of good outings here and there. So taking advantage of those and going as many innings, as many pitches as you can in those games is important for pitchers.
Everybody back to their stations. 2 runners on for Manka, pitching with some trouble. Ford on first, Hanley on second, each reached with a single. Wanted that first pitch low after a couple were barreled up by Hanley and Ford. Chase Freilich, first time up, he struck out looking. Part of a 1-2-3 first frame for Manka. He deals home. Slider tailed outside. Two-oh count. Manka. There's a fastball strike.
Manka trying to keep it low, work Freilich into something on the ground. Kettleers could turn 2 here.
The throw. Laced foul. And at first, Hanley motioned to run, I think. Might have been a little hit and run for him and Ford. 2-2 count, no one out. Top of the 3rd inning. Gets up 2-0. Chatham threatening. Hits that softly high in the air and foul. Another one over the press box.
Crowd is watching those foul balls very intently. Those past 2 have drawn an audible gasp from the crowd. Trying to make sure their cars are safe.
Safer to park on the street out here.
It really is.
Swing and a miss, a foul tip, strike 3 in the 3rd strikeout of the evening for Manka.
He's worked at least 1 in every inning. Really challenging the Chatham batters. That one was a good battle with Freilich. When you're throwing around the zone and those foul balls keep happening, just continue to pound the zone even more.
Gavin Gallagher digging in. Right-handed swinging third baseman, excuse me. Grounded out last time up. Jeez. Couldn't tell you what happened there. That was a hot shot foul. Barely over the netting.
It's warm. We have had ourselves a couple of warm days. We were calling out in the sun yesterday. We can say the heat's been draining us.
Oh, that's no excuse. Rain or shine, heat or cold, we're fine. That's hit high in the air. Lazy fly out to right for Stevens. Runner tags on second. That's Hanley. Comes right back after a hard throw in from Nolan Stevens, who has a rocket launcher attached to his right shoulder.
Whoever did the scouting report on Nolan Stevens' arm made that call, and it was a good one. Stevens, I mean, that was just an absolute rocket out there. You said the rocket launcher. I think that's the best description you can make for it.
He got that in as quick as I've seen anybody make a throw from the outfield this summer. He's been struggling at the plate. That's certain, but he's worked walks, and he plays a great right field. Laced into right field. Hanley coming around third. He's going to score. Stevens a throw to third. In time. Got him. That's out number 3. So only 1 run should score off that single. Hanley And a hose piece from right field by Nolan Stevens. It's a 2-1 ball game. Cotuit is up entering the bottom of the third. Third inning of work due up for Mason Peters. He's going to face the top three he faced in the first: Jaron Advincula, Andrew Wiggins, and Ryan Farber. Advincula singled into left field and came around to score his first time at the dish. Two-one ball game. Cotuit up, but Chatham split the lead with an RBI single off the bat of Ace Reese. However, the inning was promptly ended with a long throw from right field by Nolan Stevens to gun the runner down at third. Hard shot to short, throw in time for out number one.
Limiting that leadoff man for Chatham should be a big help in this inning. In innings 1 and 2, the leadoff man for Cotuit got on and then came around to score. That's how the Cats scored their first 2 runs of the ball game. So to limit Advincula on the base path, it's a good start here in inning number 3.
Another lefty-lefty matchup. It's Andrew Wiggins in the box. Grounded out to third his first time up. That advanced Advincula. Was on a bunt. And that play was important because that took the third baseman off of his position, and Advincula saw that the whole way. Didn't even think about stopping at second, went all the way over to the third base bag, uncontested. Chopper on the ground. That's going to get through the middle for a base hit. Wiggins' first knock of the day.
Good solid piece of hitting right up the middle. That indicates you barreled up the ball pretty well. And Wiggins can do that. Beginning to find his groove here for Cotuit. Came into this one hitting 200 on the year. He's trying to stay consistently above that threshold.
Wiggins aboard for the first time today. Gives way for Ryan Farber. He drove in Advincula on a ground out. Got to check Wiggins over there at first base. He's a willing base stealer. 2 stolen bags on 2 tries this summer. Part of a Cotuit team that swiped 14. A strike.
A breaking ball is really something else from Peters. You know, as a lefty, he's starting that kind of near the head level of a batter if they were in the left-handed batter's box, and is just able to bring it back in.
Another throwback. Some guys stretching over in the Chatham pen. Gonna try to get you the numbers on these guys momentarily. Down low, strike 2.
Binoculars were a good move. I think we've utilized the binoculars at least 2 or 3 times every game.
I think I've got a number on one of them. Oh, one of these guys needs to uncross their arms.
Oh, dear.
Here comes the 0-2, spiked in. He needs to turn around just a little bit more, and I can see that number. We're at a loss right here. Well, I'll tell you this much. No one is throwing over there in their bullpen, so I don't know if we're going to see anybody in relief of Peters too soon. As that pitch snapped in a ball.
Well, Peters went 4 innings in his only other outing this year, and he did allow 6 hits, 4 earned runs. So the Chatham staff letting him work through a little bit of trouble, build up those reps from all game situations.
Peters staring at first. Chopped foul. So the one pitcher we could actually see, Preston Barr, the right-hander out of Michigan. 723 earned run average as a freshman there. Could be the guy we see soon.
So a couple of Prestons working in the pen.
Kroll for the Kettleers. And Barr for the Anglers. There is someone up and throwing, though. Runner goes. Chopped foul, same side. Well, let's investigate a little more with the binocs. We'll take another look.
Has he turned around?
Well, he's throwing now. He's just not in prime position. Where his jersey number is covered up by the yellow top of the fencing in right field.
Well, this is just not a good set of circumstances.
We'll figure him out sooner or later. As Ryan Farber is ready for the Mason Peters offer. He's hitless today. Long look and a fire back to first. I think our producer, Sorka Lewis, has just thrown us an assist. That is Charlie Foster, left-handed pitcher out of Mississippi State.
Sorka, you are the real MVP. Thank you.
So I think we'll see him first. He's actually up and throwing. Peters deals. High pop-up foul.
It's been a lengthy battle here between Farber and Peters. That was the 7th pitch of the at-bat. I mean, at the minimum, what Farber's doing here is working up Peters' pitch count. This will be pitch 50 for Mason. Still 3rd inning. He's officially only worked 2 1/3 here in this one.
Throw back to first. They are wary of Wiggins on first.
I mean, those pitches don't include the pickoff attempts. There's been quite a few worked in here just in this at-bat. 4 pickoff attempts here in this at-bat.
One down. Here's the pitch off the end of the bat, foul. Farber just fighting him off. That was pitch number 8 of the AB. Heck, and that was center cut. So Farber could have smashed that one out to center. We'll see if he finds his pitch to hit. The throw home. Foul again. 9 pitches in this at-bat.
This has been great battling on both ends. I mean, Peters is not giving up. He's not trying to have Farber chase low and away. He does have a pitch to work with. The count is still 2-2. But he's really just challenging Farber head on. These past 3 pitches have all been middle part of the zone.
9 pitches thrown, 4 pickoff attempts against Farber. And they're going to say that hit him. Although, no, the home plate umpire, Fred DeJesus, is coming to toss the ball back to the pitcher. I think they're going to say that's a foul tip. Because Farber, it looked like he kind of waved the bat at it. No, they're going to call that a strikeout.
They're saying he went around.
Or I thought he got a piece of that, honestly. We'd have to see it again, but at least from the angle here, it appeared that it just popped off the handle. But no, struck out swinging.
10-pitch at bat.
Another throwback.
I mean, how about that for your first strikeout of the evening if you're Mason Peters? Comes with 10 pitches that Farber was just battling, and the strikeout pitch hit him.
Lifted high in the air by Nolan Stevens. Foul. So Peters' pitch count is well over 50 now through 2 2/3. Oh, and 1 count. Another throwback. And at what point do you give up on getting the runner at first?
Considering that Cotuit has been fairly successful today with runners in scoring position, I wouldn't count on it.
High fastball got a wave and a miss. They do have 2 outs on their side, so we'll see if Peters just trusts his stuff or keeps going to first here on 0-2. 2-1 ball game. Ketts lead. The throw home. Hit off the handle, drops into right field, a base hit. Wiggins on second, Stevens on first.
It wasn't a whole lot of good contact, but he made it work.
That makes Stevens 2 for 2. You're all good, Chris.
I cut you off. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, that's fine. We've got to start a signal system. Well, we kind of have, but
I just don't utilize it, unfortunately.
well, that's okay.
I'll work on that. That will be what I work on from here on out.
French is coming up to bat, the catcher. Wiggins on second, on first, it's Nolan Stevens, a single for each. French flew out his first time up. Looking for his first base hit of the day. Low. Now Mason Peters has himself in a bit of a jam. Couple runners on, 2 outs though. Just searching for that bouncing ball to one of his infielders. Or a strikeout. Looping breaker in there, a strike. French a 167 average on the summer after going 2 for 4 yesterday. Here comes the 1-1. Cracked on the ground towards first, and the play is going to be made by the man there. Jake Hanley retires the side. 2-1. Cotuit up on Chatham entering the top of the 4th. Daniel Jackson, Ethan Mendoza, Jackson Freeman are your anglers due up next on Cape League TV. 2-1 ball game entering the top of the fourth. Cotuit over Chatham, their second meeting of this season. Chatham took the first one 4-2. Mason Peters worked out of trouble in the bottom of the third. 2 Kettleers got on base with 2 outs, but he got a ground out to the first baseman from Anderson French to end it. Daniel Jackson, the leadoff man. He's the designated hitter. Pitch comp problems. What do you know?
Who would have thought?
You get an instance of it once a game, at least. Cap back on for Manka.
I think the PitchCom will have a winning record when this season comes to a close.
I think so. Can't count the amount of times I've seen it pulled out of the hat. That's belted high and deep into left center field. Coming out to play it is Winfield making a grab, hitting the wall. Nice play by the Texas center fielder.
I mean, he was closing ground fast on that fly ball and right near the wall in front of a couple of kids out there, and right away, as soon as he made that catch, just crashed into the wall. Everyone up there running up to him, giving him words of support. I mean, that was a very athletic catch when the wall was closing in fast on Winfield.
For a second, I thought that one was going to drop a little bit earlier, but just kept carrying to the wall, and heck, Winfield would have dove over that wall if he needed to. Now Manka faces Ethan Mendoza, watching a first pitch ball. Mendoza flew out his first time up. So Manka narrowly avoided a home run with some support from his center fielder. Now he's locked into a 2-0 count against Ethan Mendoza. The 2-0. That's a strike. Mendoza, Texas, a teammate of Winfield, the center fielder for the Kettleers. .333 average with the Longhorns. Started his career at Arizona State. .300 average there as well. Successful wherever he goes. Tim O'Connor is going to check on Manka. I think it's another pitch comp thing.
Score today, Cotuit 2, Chatham 1, PitchCom 2.
Second time this inning we've seen the pitch comp fumbled with. Tim O'Connor taking a long look at it. Pitching coach and technician, his new role.
Another title to add to the resume.
Looks like he's taking it back to the dugout, if that's what he's holding. Wonder if you just go back to the general signs.
In this day and age, never.
Crowell's getting ready in the pen. They're going to see if Manka wants to go this full inning or can. The 2-1 deal. Looper in there, a ball. Mendoza, the hit leader this summer for Chatham. 9 base knocks. Swing and a miss. .75 hits at Texas, 9 doubles, 4 triples, 5 home runs. Swiped 15 bags as well. Not a guy you want to put on first. Popped foul.
You know, all this talk about PitchCom, I just looked it up. I found out a cool fun fact. That little sound that tells the pitcher what to throw, it can be anything that the user wants. So they can put any voice or any sound in there calling the pitches that they hear.
I'm sure you can get pretty creative with that. Ball 4. So taking first is Ethan Mendoza. Fleet of foot. I wonder if there's a pitch comm sound that tells you to throw to first.
That would be a good question. In my research, found out there's 9 buttons that the catcher can press to send a little prompt down to the pitcher to hear.
So if you were a pitcher and you had to throw a fastball, what sound would you tell your catcher to put in the pitch comm?
Probably something that works in the word gas. Either a guy saying straight gas or maybe the sound. You could put in sounds, I guess. Have a car starting up.
I like it. Here's the 0-1 to Jackson Freeman. Puts that one into left field. A base hit. Mendoza charging towards third. The throw in time. Emphatic call at third for out number 2. Another great throw from a Kettleers outfielder. This time it's Easton Winfield.
How about the inning for Easton Winfield? Out number 1, he was crashing into the fence to make the catch. Out number 2, with an absolute hose, he guns down Mendoza. I mean, Winfield's just demonstrating great power out in center field right now.
The defense from the Kettleers today has been nothing short of incredible. From the play in the first by Jaron Advincula to get the runner, to the catch in center by Easton Winfield, to the 2 throws Nolan Stevens made in from right field. There's just been great stuff all across the diamond. Not to mention Camden Johnson gunning down the runner from third. That throw skips away, and Freeman will scamper to second, chugging around for third. The throw from first to the pitcher. Jackson Freeman taking full advantage of that loose ball.
First error of the ball game coming for Cotuit. It will be on Manka.
Got to be careful when you're going back to first. Fought back to the screen. 0-1 to Isaiah Lane now. Shortstop batting right-handed. 0 for in their last game against Harwich. Lane playing his college ball at San Diego. 8 walks, leads the team. Hit high into center field. Winfield gonna jog in to make the grab for out number 3. Manka gets out of a jam for his 4th inning complete. Ket's up 2-1 going into the bottom of the 4th. Leading off this inning, the bottom of the fourth for the Kettleers is Camden Johnson batting with a 2-1 advantage over the Chatham Anglers. Kept that way by some phenomenal defense in the outfield and infield by the Cats.
Easton Winfield, tip of the cap to him. He was able to save, I'd say, 2 runs out in center field on a great catch, crashing into the fence and gunning down a runner at third.
Need the defensive run save stat for the Cape League.
Can dig into that, try to find it.
First pitch from Connor Marshburn, the new arm for the Anglers. A swinging strike on the check by Johnson. Marshburn, the 6'6" right-hander out of UNC Wilmington. 15 starts, 351 earned run average. 74 in a third innings pitched. He was a workhorse. He had a heck of a start against Georgia this year. Had a no-hitter in 6 innings, walked 2, struck out 7 in a win against the, at the time, number 4 Bulldogs.
Some midweek madness for you. A little mid-major going against a top SEC school.
High chopper to the pitcher. Marshburn makes the throw easily to first. 1 down.
Marshburn this season has 1 appearance so far for Chatham. It was a relief appearance, but he went 3 innings, so a lengthy middle reliever, you would call him. In those 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts.
There's a chance we see him for a long time tonight. Some shadows starting to descend on the field. Over third base, reaching the pitcher's mound. In there, a fastball off the plate, a ball to Rintaro Sasaki. Drove in a run, Camden Johnson on a ground out back in the second. 1-0 pitch to Sasaki, skips away. Marshburn, hometown is Cary, North Carolina, home of Team USA.
One of 3 Cary, North Carolina natives on this Chatham roster.
Hit off the handle into the outfield. Nice stab out there at the second base position by Mendoza. Out 2. Call that a P4 in your scorebook. Marshburn looking for a 1-2-3 clean sheet in his first inning tonight. Jaros looks at a ball. Ryan Jaros, a fly out to right his first time up. Marshburn looking into a 1-0 count. Rips that one in the dirt. Outfield shifted slightly to their rights. To the left of the batter, Jaros. Big gap in the middle of the infield. Here's the pitch. Another one in the same spot. 3 straight pitches. Kind of to that lower right half of the backstop Freilich. He has to bring the glove around to his other side to make those stops. It's a 3-0 count. Here it comes. Same spot for the 4th time. Went to that well for every pitch and did not get a strike. So Jaros works a walk, his first of the summer. In comes Easton Winfield, the 9-hole hitter. He's been bouncing all over the order. Has hit 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 9th, and 8th. The pitch outside. Marshburn struggling with the command after he got 2 out. Only walked 37 batters in 74 1/3 at school. Way outside. Marshburn regaining his bearings on the slab. Lineup card will turn over to Jaron Advincula if Winfield reaches. 7 straight balls thrown by Connor Marshburn. And he was down 2-0 to Rentaro Sasaki before he lined out to second. Gets one over, 3-1. So Winfield was just waiting for him to get one over the plate.
At that point, all you do is just sit and wait. Wait for a strike.
Here's the 3-1. Inside, back-to-back walks for Connor Marshburn, and that brings up Jaron Advincula. So 2 on with 2 outs. Ketzer up 2-1, threatening.
And up until this point, it was walk-free baseball for Chatham. In Peters' 3 innings of work, no walks issued.
In comes their pitching coach to have a quick chat. Just him, the catcher, and Marshburn. Freilich, the catcher. It was a quick meeting, just a little calm you down type of conversation. Jaron Advincula getting ready to step into the box for the 3rd time. He led the game off with a single. First pitch of ball.
Vincula has had 2 straight multi-hit games. Already won today, so his next hit would extend that streak to 3.
Here comes the 1-0. In there, a strike to Advincula. Marshburn looks home, swing and a miss. Advincula not pleased with himself. So Jay Powell was the pitching coach. That came out, former MLB reliever. The 1-2. In there. Emphatic strike 3 call from Fred De Jesus. Sets down the side, leaves a couple of Kets stranded. 2-1 ball game entering the top of the 5th here at Lowell Park.
Protecting the possible.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
New pitcher out there is Preston Kroll for the Cotuit Kettleers in relief of Peyton Manka, who pitched 1-run ball through 4. Solid outing for him.
Menka's final line: 4 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 run which was earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So he'll give way to Kroll, who has been a solid arm out of the bullpen for Cotuit, much like their bullpen in general. In fact, the bullpen has been a consistent bright spot in Cotuit's season. As the record, being 2-7, you can try to find those things that work and things that don't. One of the things that has worked consistently from game 1 is Cotuit's bullpen.
Kroll, the right-hander out of Virginia Tech, tosses a first pitch strike. Kroll, couple outings so far this summer, and he's been really good. 6 innings of no-run ball, 3 strikeouts, only allowed 3 base runners. He faces Jake Hanley at the bottom of the order. Then it's back to Henry Ford and Chase Fralick, 1 and 2. Kroll, the 0-2, swing and a miss. 1-2-3, a strikeout to start off his outing.
I mean, that's coming in with just some dominance from the bullpen. Go up, stand on the mound, fire strikes. Don't be afraid to challenge a batter.
Now it's Henry Ford. A single in the 3rd. Got thrown out trying to stretch out to 3rd. That was on that RBI single by Ace Reese. Preston Crowell, nothing but strikes so far. Not that time.
What do they call that? An announcer's jinx?
Yeah. Sorry, Preston.
That was
not my best.
Near instantaneous, too.
It happens sometimes.
I should go buy a lottery ticket.
I'm not one to believe in the announcer's jinx. Sometimes things just happen.
I heard a great quote from an announcer that said, if the announcer's jinx was real, I'd be winning a lot more every time I went to Vegas.
See, that's a fair point.
Now, I've never gone to Vegas or anything like that, so I would assume he's correct. But, yeah, it's a good quote.
You just never know. It's 2-1 count, and Preston Kroll is having PitchCom troubles.
PitchCom has now taken the lead in this game. They now lead Cotuit and Chatham 3-2-1.
It's the 3rd noticeable PitchCom issue we've seen. If they take off that cap, it's got something to do with the old pitch calling system.
Oh, have to love PitchCom.
Blasted high into left field. Drawing in for it is Wiggins, making the grab for out number 2.
Oh, we talked about it earlier in this game. The amount of ground that Cotuit outfielders can cover is a lot more than your typical outfielder. They all have wheels, and the outfielders for Cotuit have been making us look good, saying that statement, as Wiggins, Winfield, and Stevens have all showed off their legs and their arm. Really athletic day, a really good defensive day for the Cotuit outfielders.
They've all made plays at their respective spots. Stevens and Winfield have each thrown out a runner as that's laced into left center field, and Easton Winfield just makes it look easy out there. 3 up, 3 down for Preston Crowell. Gonna turn it over to my partner Chris Albright for the rest of this one. Thanks everyone for listening so far. You're on Cape League TV. It's 2-1 Cotuit going into the bottom of the 5th.
When we see our patient, our philosophy is to not just take care of the isolated pathology or problem that they're here for. We look at the care of a patient as the whole patient, how they hold hands with a spouse or partner, how they engage with their children or grandchildren. These are important things in the equation of how we decide optimal treatment for patients, whether that's non-operative or operative intervention. Every patient gets treated as a family member or as a pro athlete in our mind. We provide concierge level of care. That's how we want it done for our own, and that's what we continue to do here in the greater Boston area.
Back here at Lowell Park, Chris Albright joined alongside Connor Shue, third member of our team, Brooke Kilgore. We'll hear from her shortly. Special thank you to our producers and directors, Riley Lewis and Sorka Lewis. Andrew Wiggins up for Cotuit. It will be Wiggins, Farber, and Stevens. 2, 3, and 4 due up here in the bottom of the fifth. Cotuit up by 1 over the Anglers of Chatham. This game is very similar to the first matchup between these two teams, where it was pretty close up until the final 3 innings.
I mean, that one, right you are with that. They were knotted up for a while at 2 apiece. Kettleers actually had the advantage after the 6th, 2-1 ball game, but the Anglers tied it up in the 7th. Ketts couldn't score in the 8th, and then the Anglers just kept scoring 2 more in the bottom of the 8th, and then unfortunately for Cotuit, they could not answer in the top half of the next one.
1-2 the count. Marshburn dealing to Wiggins. And that ball is laced into shallow right field, sinking down for a base hit. That's the second hit of the day for Andrew Wiggins.
Wiggins has looked really good. High bouncer up the middle for his first hit, then a good piece of hitting out to right field for his second knock of the evening.
As the 3-hole hitter, Ryan Farber, steps up. He's a switch hitter. He'll take his first crack hitting left-handed today. Andrew Wiggins, who's on first, he started this season as the 9-hole hitter for Cotuit. Played in the bottom third of the lineup. As of recent, he's been bumped up to the 2 slot. And when he's been up in the 2 slot, he's done a good job. I mean, today he's gotten a couple of hits. You look back at what he's done in the top part of the lineup. He was able to work a couple walks here and there. So he's really, adjusting to his role, which is good for Wiggins. He runs. That ball is a soft tapper to the hill, barehanded by Marshburn, and the throw to first is in time. A very athletic play from the pitcher as Wiggins reaches second.
You don't see many pitchers that can go out and just make that play. Barehands it with his right arm totally outstretched and fires it on a line to first while he's hanging off of his back foot. Really impressive stuff from Marshburn.
Marshburn's 6'6", 230, to be moving as limber and as smooth as he did, that is just adds to the impressiveness of that play. The tall right-hander on the mound will step back on the first base side of the rubber, and he'll stare down Nolan Stevens, who is 2 for 2 today. A pair of singles for Stevens, who is looking to really continue attacking the hitting department. Stevens came into this one 4 for 32. That's hitting at a 125 average. And you look at what he was doing at Mississippi State, that's not a typical Nolan Stevens stat line. So for him to be able to see some hits, and there's hit number 3 as that goes into right field, and getting the wave around third is Wiggins. He'll score. It's the first RBI for Stevens today. He is 3 for 3, and Cotuit's now up 3-1.
And have yourself a day, Nolan Stevens. That's the hardest hit ball we've seen of the day for him as well. Just ripped it into right field, and Wiggins has the speed on second and made his way home fairly easily and gives the Ketts a little bit of insurance as they get deeper into the game.
Anderson French will dig in, the tall left-handed hitter who just wrapped up his year at Virginia Tech. He is 0 for 2 today. Marshburn unable to spin that breaking ball in enough for strike 1. The count is 1-0 on French, who yesterday against Brewster made his return to Cotuit's lineup after being away for a few games. Swings and fouls this one far down the left field line and into the grassy berm of fans. In French's first plate appearance in a couple games, he was able to lace a single and then finished his night with a double. You said, Connor, that was about 4 feet from being Cotuit's first home run of the year.
He hit it to the base of the right field wall, and it's not too far down, as that wall is maybe a few feet shorter than we are.
few feet shorter than you are. Thank you for including me on the Wii.
I'm trying to throw you a bone, Chris. Come on.
2 tall men up here in the booth. Chris and Connor up here. 1-2. Swung and popped up foul.
We are
and
both
out of play.
6'5", for those wondering.
No, we did have lengthy basketball careers at some point before retiring to come be the voices of the Kets. In fact, we match up pretty even with Anderson French, who's 6'5" himself. 6'6" Marshburn dealing to 6'5" French. The pitch, just a bit inside.
Wait till they find out we're both actually 5'5".
So now we're just throwing out numbers. No one knows how tall we are. Stevens on first. No, 1 out here. Bottom of the 5th. The pitch. Swung on and chopped foul. Seen some lengthy at-bats today. Ryan Farber had a 10-pitch at-bat in the 3rd. Two and two, the count on Anderson French. Here is pitch 7 of this at-bat. Tapper towards first, past the glove of Hanley. Heading to 3rd is Stevens. The throw won't be in time. Cotuit will have runners on the corners, and the hit train continues.
And this is all only with 1 out, so the Kettleers are getting this stuff done with a lot of room to just keep raking. They're looking good against a really tough arm. And Connor Marshburn, this guy was the Friday starter for a solid program down the Atlantic Ocean in UNC Wilmington and has pitched well in his lone outing this summer.
Looking to buckle down here, facing Camden Johnson, who is no stranger to showing a bunt. The 3rd baseman Gallagher is playing in the infield grass, ready for anything soft down his line. Johnson does not show bunt for ball 1. Camden today 1 for 2. He legged out a double in the 2nd and then advanced to 3rd on a balk where he was able to score on a Rentaro Sasaki grounder.
I will mention the Kettleers already tied their season high in hits with 8.
Only the 5th inning here in this one. One more hit would then make it a season high. The Kettleers bats, and we can't stress this enough, have really come alive in the past 3 games now. 8 hits against Bourne on Sunday as this ball's belted to center field. Ford will measure, camp out underneath, and tagging from 3rd and scoring is Nolan Stevens on a sacrifice fly from Camden Johnson. Cotuit now leads by 3.
The runs just keep coming, and this is the 2nd game in the row. Cotuit has built themselves a solid lead to stand on for the rest of the game, and this inning's not over. Rentaro Sasaki coming up. I'm excited to see how the Pen does with a lead, something they haven't had a lot this season.
I mean, not that it has really mattered for Cotuit's bullpen. They come into this game leading the Cape with a 2.22 ERA. Their whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, is 1.03. So averaging just 1 walk or hit per inning pitched. Just spectacular numbers from the Cotuit bullpen. But from the offensive side, Sasaki, who is now swinging a torpedo bat. He's up in this count 2-0.
Are you sure?
That looks to be a torpedo bat.
I see it now. There's a lot of meat at the top of that thing.
This ball is ripped towards left field. Reese will have to retreat back, and he'll make the catch on the run. Sasaki, using the torpedo bat, showed off some opposite side power. And Cotuit plates 2 in the bottom of the 5th. The Kets now lead by 3. This is Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. first inning of work. And his first pitch to Gavin Gallagher misses upstairs for ball 1. Gallagher is 0 for 2 today. He is now 6 for 22 on his Cape League summer. A face who we got to see for the first time when Chatham played Cotuit back about a week ago. In fact, it was Gavin Gallagher's first game that he appeared in for the Anglers when they played Cotuit. So since then, he's made an impact for the Anglers. He's ahead in this count 2-0. Kroll able to work with a much more generous lead now. And Kroll has been throwing strikes in his appearance as well. 11 pitches, 7 of those for strikes. Only threw 1 ball in his first inning of work. Gallagher didn't go around on the check swing. Count will run to 3-1.
And it's almost that sweeping curve he employs that's his best pitch he threw the first strike of this count with. Can't really call it a slider or a curveball. Feel like it has the horizontal and vertical movement for either.
Check swing, but that's off the bat and foul towards the Chatham first base dugout. Sun still beaming down on them. It's complete shadows up until the pitcher's mound. Shadows creeping across a large Gothic sea that is now painted behind home plate. We saw a couple of Kettleers interns out there in the sun spraying white spray paint to the Cotuit logo. This ball is hit high into left center field, ranging over Wiggins, but Winfield will call him off and make the catch. Easton Winfield's impressive defensive day continues.
Hey, that's the center fielder's ball. If they want to call for it, that's the rule. Unwritten.
Well, you can see Wiggins and Winfield talking with each other as they run back. Winfield had to run a lot further to make that catch than Wiggins did, so he earned that catch. And up steps the lefty, Ace Reese.
I will say I've seen the communication in the outfield for the Kettleers has been pretty good all summer, especially for guys who are playing with each other for the first time. You'll see sometimes in summer ball guys running into each other trying to make catches. They don't really know each other's tendencies or where they like to be. So you'll have instances like that, but everything's been clean for the Kets 3.
2-0 is the count on Ace Reese, who is 1 for 2 today. Had an RBI single in the third. That scored Chatham's only run of the ball game. This ball is absolutely belted but foul. If that stayed fair, that ball would have been long gone.
Jeez. Yeah. If he was maybe a little later on that, that would have been over the trees, maybe?
It's only 320 down the right field line. This ball is popped up high into left field. Wiggins on the run, and he makes the catch. He lost his hat. He was sprinting over, made a phenomenal running catch, and the Kettleers faithful along that left field line erupt in a thunderous applause.
Heck of a catch by Wiggins, and plays center field at Indiana. And there's a reason he has that type of range over there in left, and that's what the Kets outfield is like, I should say. Winfield and Wiggins in left and center, each of those guys are naturally playing center at school, so each of them, along with Stevens, more of a natural right fielder. All of them cover so much ground.
First pitch is a ball to Daniel Jackson, who is 0 for 1 today. He was able to walk in his first plate appearance, sitting second league-wide in on-base plus slugging coming into this contest. He led the Anglers in home runs as well coming into this one, and since there have been no home runs today, he still leads the Anglers with 2 long balls. And going back to the talk about the outfield, the amount of ground these outfielders can cover is a large amount. So a lot of these balls that are hung up high in the air, you'll see Wiggins and Winfield come in, both can make the play, or Winfield and Stevens can come in and make the play. That requires you to have a lot more communication instead of just having one guy who can't cover as much ground. So then one person can only make that play. It's a 4-pitch walk to Daniel Jackson, his second base on balls of the day. He's now up to 8 on the season.
First base runner allowed by Preston Kroll today as well. Continuing a really nice outing, and hopefully can limit the damage after that.
Kets have struck out 4 anglers. They've also walked 4. It's been a summer where the walks and hits have been closer than Cotuit pitchers would like. Still an impressive split. First pitch is a ball to Ethan Mendoza, the 6-hole hitter for Chatham. Pitching staff wide, 81 strikeouts to 40 walks.
I like that pitch by Kroll. Dropped off the table and started almost on Mendoza in his right-handed batter's box, and did a great job to lay off of it.
I'll have a meeting on the mound to calm down Peyton Manka, who has delivered 6 straight balls. No urgency in Cotuit's bullpen right now, just some guys stretching and getting loose. Appears this won't be the end of the road for Kroll. And home plate umpire Fred De Jesus will walk out to the mound to tell the Kettleers, okay, time's up. Mendoza, who's up to bat for Chatham, is also 0 for 1 today. But just like Daniel Jackson, he also has a walk. And Mendoza was the recipient of an incredible throw to catch him trying to take third base on a single from Jackson Freeman, who's on deck. Three and 0 is the count on him. Manka still trying, Kroll still trying to find the zone. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks for Preston Kroll puts runners on first and second. Freeman will walk to the plate. He is 1 for 1 today. And he has also been walked. In fact, all 5 walks issued to Chatham batters have been Jackson, Mendoza, and Freeman. 5, 6, and 7. So if Kroll can get to the 8 or 9-hole hitter, maybe this walk train would stop. I mean, outside of these 3 guys, the strikeouts have been happening for Cotuit pitching. Now 10 straight balls thrown by Kroll. 2 outs, top of the 6th. The pitch. There's a strike. Middle. Sometimes all you have to do is see it, and then they start flowing. Farber, the shortstop, shaded a bit towards second base. And now back-to-back strikes from Kroll. Will even the count at 2. 2 and 2, 2 outs. Runners on first and second for the Anglers, looking to get back after Cotuit lengthened their lead. They're up by 3. Just a bit high and away. Full count. Kroll dealing to Freeman. Here's the pitch. Runners go, and it's just a bit inside. The bases are loaded for the Anglers, and all three have reached via a walk.
It's a tough spot, especially after you get a 2-spot from your hitters and you go back out there, and then a little bit of struggle with the walks. Cats still have the 3-run lead and 2 outs on their side, so force at every base. Anything on the ground would end the frame.
Isaiah Lane is up for the Anglers. He is 0 for 2 today. Some chin music. Dish to Lane. Isaiah's 4 for 25 this summer. 1 RBI. He's struck out 11 times, but he has 8 walks. So he himself can also work a base on balls. And as of right now, all Chatham hitters are needing to do is simply stand in the batter's box.
He has been missing 33 pitches, 13 strikes for Kroll.
Kroll came into this inning after only throwing 1 ball in his first frame of work. Here in this one, he has struggled to find the zone. He's walked 3 straight Anglers to load the bases, and down in this count towards Lane, 2 balls and no strikes. Force is now at every bag. That is the silver lining here with 2 outs. Outfield shaded to their lefts. Just a bit outside, 3-0.
And the last thing you want to do here is walk in a run. 2 down. Just have to spot it over the plate.
Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that skips to the backstop. It doesn't matter. It's another 4-pitch walk. As Daniel Jackson, who got this walk train going for Chatham, comes around to score. The Cotuit lead is now 2. There will be a meeting on the mound. Looks like this will be the end of the road for Preston Kroll. Cotuit will make a call to the bullpen. We'll take a quick break here on Cape League TV. When we return, the Anglers still will have the bases loaded with 2 outs. They're trailing the Kettleers by 2. New pitcher on the mound for Cotuit. Inheriting this precarious situation is Charlie Walker, 6'2", 210. A Massachusetts native plays his ball at Northeastern. This will be appearance number 4 on the season. And the first pitch is fouled to the backstop by Jake Hanley.
And I really like the decision to bring out Charlie Walker here. He's been one of the best arms this summer for the Kettleers. Striking out batters, he's been able to provide them some length out of the pen as well, so you could probably get a couple innings out of him here.
That's 2 straight strikes to Jake Hanley. Walker inherited a bases loaded situation. All 4 base runners this inning for Chatham reached via a walk. Looking to end it here. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch just caught a piece of it to stay alive. Walker on the season through 5 2/3 innings of work. He's walked 2, struck out 4. A strikeout here would end the inning, limiting a whole lot of damage that could still be out on the base paths. Here's the 0-2. And fouled away again. Mendoza's on third. Freeman is on second. Lane is on first. Kettleers infield playing the left-handed hitting Hanley to pull. They're all shaded to their lefts. Vincula deep in the pocket. The 0-2. And a bit of an excuse me swing. It's a slow roller barehanded by Johnson, and the throw to first is not in time. That scores the second run of the inning for Chatham. And everyone is safe as runners go from station to station.
That's about as close as you're going to get on a play. Johnson did a great job coming in on that ball. Barehanded it, slung it over to first as quickly as he could, and it was a strike over there to Jaros, but just not quite in time. I felt like that was nearly a tie, if anything.
It was a bang-bang play. It did require Jaros, the first baseman, to make a big stretch. Pulled him off the bag towards the tail end of that. The lineup card has been flipped to Henry Ford. Ford today 1 for 3. The lone time he reached base, he was thrown out, again trying to advance to third. This ball is hit high and foul. Ford really turned on it. Walker again has worked into an 0-2 count. Looking to close the door here. Bases remain loaded for the Anglers. Force at every bag. Cotuit holding on to now a 1-run lead here in the top of the 6th. Walker delivers. Ripped towards third, fielded on a hop by Johnson, and he'll step on third to end the inning. Chatham will leave the bases loaded, but the Anglers score 2. They're within a run of Cotuit. Plenty of close baseball still to be played here on Cape League TV. good look at the painted Gothic sea behind home plate. A couple of interns did that earlier today, baking in the hot sun. A special thank you to Max Pina and Riggs Catlin. Riggs Catlin is one of the bullpen catchers for Cotuit, and they did a pretty good job, Connor, I will say. I mean, it looks professionally done.
That is very well done. Had the stencil out there and everything, spray painted that thing. Spent their valuable time here this morning procuring that beautiful image behind home plate.
Just adds to the majestic nature of Lowell Park, a crown jewel of the Cape, as people call it. And as Ryan Jaros will step into the batter's box to lead things off for the Kets, there's a new pitcher on the bump for Chatham.
It's Josh Swink, left-hander out of Liberty, just completed his junior season. 39 2/3, kind of a swingman, 21 appearances, 6 starts.
Another lefty on the mound for Chatham. The starting pitcher, Mason Peters, was left-handed. Marshburn, a righty arm. He allowed 2 earned runs. This ball is smacked towards center field. It's sinking fast, and it will fall in no man's land. A leadoff single for Ryan Jaros. He's reached base in 2 consecutive at-bats.
And he needed that badly, Chris. Not a hit since nearly the beginning of the season, the first couple of games, so gets back on the board with a walk and the hit. Reached twice.
Up will step Easton Winfield. A returner on this Kettleers staff. Played for the Kets last season. He, along with Jared Avincula, 2 notable names to return. He's showing bunt and will pull it back. Swink out on the mound. This will be his 3rd appearance of the summer. He still boasts a 0 ERA through 5 innings of work. He's allowed 4 hits. The lone run surrendered was unearned. Walked 1 and he struck out 5. So we'll average a strikeout per inning, should that stat stay the same. On 1, here's the pitch to Winfield. Again showing bunt, and he gets a piece of it, but shoots it foul.
I think it bears mentioning that Ryan Jaros hit makes it a season high for the Kets. They've got 9.
Right you are, and we still have 3 innings to play, so the Kettleers have plenty of time to add on to it. Make it 25 hits over the last 3 games for the Kettleers. Swing and a miss from Winfield on a ball that kept tailing away from the zone.
And Winfield doesn't strike out a lot, so you got to throw some good stuff to get him waving. And that was a really nice breaking pitch, just tailed away from Winfield enough to miss the bat.
Only the 3rd strikeout today from Kettleers batters. Have had good plate discipline throughout this one. Avincula up to bat. The leadoff man in this Kets lineup today, as has he been throughout the summer. He reached via a single in the first, came around to score the first run of the ball game. On some nifty base running. Fouls this one back into the parking lot. After that single, his next 2 plate appearances, grounded out and struck out looking. Looking to continue his multi-hit streak, I guess you could call it. This ball is shot into left field, and it sinks down for a base hit. Jaros will pump the brakes at second, and Avincula now has a multi-hit game in 3 straight games.
And he's been on fire. He's doing exactly what he did last summer, just shooting it around the yard. Opposite field, center field, right field. For him, he's been getting hits every which way, and that average keeps creeping back up. I don't know if he's hitting 392 again, but you never know.
If there's anyone who can do it, it's Avincula. He's bumped his average up to 333 on the summer. a couple of 500 days. That will bump your average up quicker than you think. Andrew Wiggins, who has himself a 2-hit day already, is in the left-handed batter's box. He'll take a first pitch strike. Wiggins had a sacrifice bunt, you could say, in the first inning. And it really proved to be fruitful as it drew the third baseman Gallagher in enough to allow Avincula, who was on first, to scamper all the way around to third. Again, Wiggins shows bunt. He'll take a strike. Oh, 0-2 the count on Andrew Wiggins. Swink on the mound trying to work out of some trouble with a runner in scoring position. Wiggins able to just get a piece of it to stay alive. Wiggins has seen his average creep up as well. He's now hitting .273 on the year. This will be at-bat 23 of his summer. He'll take outside. That is a borderline take that went in Wiggins' favor. Outfield straight away. Infield playing at double play depth. Turning 2 here would end the inning. 1-2. Called strike 3 on a breaking ball.
Yeah, that was a good pitch from Swink right there. Just dropped it right in the bucket, lower part of the zone. I think Wiggins must have thought that was going to break a little more.
We'll have a meeting on the mound as the switch hitter Ryan Farber steps up. A couple of arms getting loose in the Chatham bullpen. Down the right field line, and that door to the bullpen will open. We'll have a pitching change as Josh Swink walks out off the mound after only getting 2 outs. So we'll tell you all about this new Chatham pitcher after this break. This is Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. New pitcher on the mound for the Anglers, Nate Taylor, doing some relief work.
And at Georgia, he was nasty in some pretty limited action. 9 appearances, 8 1/3 innings, 1.08 ERA, 17 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Whew. Jeez.
Well, that has translated over here onto the Cape. This is Taylor's second appearance. His first, he started. He was a starting pitcher through 4 innings of no-hit baseball. No runs, no walks. You ready for this? 10 strikeouts.
Nasty.
Taylor 6'2", 213, the right-hander facing off against Ryan Farber, who's batting left-handed, and he was able to pop him up. This is into shallow center field. Calling for it and making the catches Ford, and thus ends the threat on the base paths. All Taylor needed was 1 pitch to get the final out. The score will stay 4-3 as we head to the top of the 7th here at Lowell Park. Fralick, Gavin Gallagher, and Ace Reese. This heavy-hitting top third of the Chatham lineup being silenced tonight by Cotuit pitching. Walker able to deal a first pitch strike.
Quick housekeeping detail. New first baseman over there for the Cats is Case Sanderson.
Sanderson replaces Ryan Jaros. His night at first base is done. Jaros has had a impressive day at the plate. 1 for 2. He was able to work a walk, fired a leadoff single to start last inning.
Had a couple nice stretches at the bag, too.
Have to see if that might be why he's no longer out there. Forgot to stretch before this game, and that ball's shot past Jared Navincula and into right field.
If I had to guess, it's because Chatham brought out a righty and they wanted a lefty instead.
You know, your answer is a lot more right than mine. It's more so just throwing words out there.
Well, I understand. You know, I mean, sometimes you don't stretch enough before a game, and I'm sure making
Don't even defend me.
Making some of those stretches at first
Don't
cannot
even
be
defend
easy.
me.
So I understand. I hear you. We're hurt here in the Kettleers broadcast booth.
Gavin Gallagher up for Chatham. First pitch swinging on a line to the third baseman Johnson. Throw back to first in time. Camden Johnson have a day at the hot corner. He doubles up. Chase Fralick over at first base.
Camden Johnson continues to impress over at third base. Catching that on a line like it was nothing and making a quick fire, set his feet immediately, and made a seed over to first base. That was a perfect throw.
It has been all defense for Cotuit today. Infield and outfield. I mean, name a guy on this Cotuit lineup today, and we could pull up a defensive highlight for them. I mean, it's been that type of day all around. Nothing in one the count here with 2 outs to Ace Reese. Had an RBI single in the 3rd. Flew out in his last plate appearance. Walker on the mound trying to work a 1-2-3 inning, aided by a double play. Chopper foul down the first base line. (4-3) the score in this ball game. Cotuit leading in the hitting category. 10 hits for the Kets compared to 6 for Chatham. Couple of crooked numbers on the scoreboard as well. Cotuit scored 2 in the 5th. Chatham responded with 2 in the top of the 6th. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and belted towards right field. At the wall and gone. It's a game-tying home run for Ace Reese, his 2nd of the summer.
Well, we saw that swing Ace Reese put on last inning before he flew out to left, and it was going to happen sometime. Ace Reese, he hit that one a mile the right side of the foul pole. This time he hits it a mile in play for a home run.
4-4 the score in this one. Daniel Jackson steps up to bat. Jackson has been the most dominant hitter this season for Chatham. And after just watching his teammate Ace Reese get a long ball, certainly a vote of confidence for the man. Not that he needs it as he steps up to bat. Jackson, Mendoza, and Freeman, the next 3 batters for Chatham, have all been walked 2 times today. 2 times apiece. Chopper on the ground. Farber charging in. He'll make the throw over to first. That will end the inning, but the damage is done for Chatham. They knot this game on a long ball from Ace Reese. We'll sing the 7th inning stretch here at Lowell Park and meet you on the other side. It's a 4-4 ball game. Cotuit versus Chatham on Cape League TV. Four, 5, and 6, the middle part of this Cotuit lineup due up. You're in the bottom of the 7th. Just did the 7th inning stretch. Hoped everyone watching took a stretch themselves, much like this first ball game. Or this first matchup between these 2 teams. This one looking like it will come down to the wire, all knotted up here. With just 2.5 innings to go. Nolan Stevens will get his first look at Nate Taylor. And the hard-throwing righty fires a fastball at 94 miles per hour, just a bit upstairs. Taylor came into this game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th and promptly got Ryan Farber to pop up to center field. And this will be his first full inning of work. And he can go the distance if necessary. A starting pitcher for Chatham. He worked 4 scoreless. This ball is shot towards left field, but coming in to make the catch is Reese.
First at-bat without a hit all day for Nolan Stevens.
Now 3 for 4 on the day. Still a good one for Stevens. Up comes Anderson French. Camden Johnson on deck. French singled in his last plate appearance. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Had a good day yesterday. He'll take a first pitch ball up and away. French, the closest to Kettleer, has come to hitting a home run this season, still on the hunt for their first. Golfs one foul up and over the third base grandstands where the Kettleer fans sit. One and one out here, bottom of the 7th. Taylor with a long pause, now the pitch. Bouncing ball on the ground. Towards second, gloved by Mendoza. And the throw's in time to retire French. 2 up, 2 down. Here to start the 7th.
Hard hit ball off the bat of French, but straight to the second baseman. Easy one for Mendoza.
Camden Johnson is 1 for 2 today. He doubled, came around to score, then grounded out. He had a sacrifice fly in his last time up. That ballooned Cotuit's lead to a 4-1 favor. And the Anglers rattled off 3 unanswered. So now we stand at a 4-4 tie. Plenty of space in the right center field gap. Should Johnson try to pull? 0-1. High chopper down the first base line, and it will trickle foul before it reaches first base. Cotuit still looking to get their first hit off of Nate Taylor, who has now spun 5 innings of no-hit ball to start his summer on Cape. He's set. Here's the 0-2. High and tight for ball 1. Nate Taylor is the only Chatham pitcher to have not surrendered a hit so far this season. 16 pitchers, and he's the only one. This ball is ripped into left field and down for a base hit. That ends that streak for Nate Taylor. And Cotuit will have a man on with 2 out.
Another good day at the plate for Camden Johnson as well. Had a 2-hit day the other day. Comes back and has himself another.
Up will step Rentaro Sasaki, the designated hitter for Cotuit. Sasaki brings a lot of fame to his name, a lot of home runs to his name as well. The son of a Japanese high school coach who saw through Shohei Ohtani, Yusei Kikuchi, Sasaki followed in their footsteps and even broke the records left by Shohei Ohtani, the high school home run record in Japan. 1-0, Sasaki will take.
And Shohei even said himself that Rentaro has a better swing than him, which is incredibly high praise, to say the least.
I mean, you look at Shohei Ohtani's swing, and that itself is a thing of beauty. We've seen Sasaki put good swings on a ball. That was at Fenway Park. Runner goes, the pitch, it's a strike throw down to second, not in time, it was off the mark. A successful stolen bag for Camden Johnson gets him in scoring position. Go ahead run, now at second for Cotuit.
One of the most willing runners on the whole team. That's number 4 for him this season.
Chasing after Jaron Vincula, who leads the Kettleers with 6 stolen bags. 1 and 2, 2 outs. Taylor dealing to Sasaki. Swung and fouled back over the press box and into the parking lot. 92 miles per hour. One, two. Swung on and blasted towards right field. It's high, it's far, and it's gone! Seisuga Sasaki-san, Rintaro Sasaki, welcome to the Cape.
His 2 hits this summer, a game-tying RBI double against Bourne, and a leading 2-run mammoth shot to right field. Wow.
Kettleers now lead 6-4.
I don't know what it was, but I saw him cocking that bat back, and I had a feeling he was about to unload on one, and that he did.
Taylor just threw too tantalizing of a pitch for Sasaki not to hit. And that is the Rintaro Sasaki that we have waited to see all summer long. 12 hits on the day for the Kettleers. 6 runs, they're up by 2.
Not to mention, that's the first homer of the season for the Cats. How about it?
Kettleers home runless no more. Game 10 of the season could not have come in a bigger moment. 0-2, here's the pitch. Appeal down to third. They say that Sanderson went. He's in disbelief in the left-handed batter's box. He'll walk back to the dugout. Kettleers up 6-4. We'll head to the 8th inning here at Lowell Park as night is falling fast. Cotuit back in charge in this one. They're up by 2 over Chatham, and there's a new pitcher out on the mound for the Kettleers. It's Wyatt Halverson.
Halverson has been really solid out of the back end of the Kettleers bullpen this year. 0s on the ERA total, 6 1/3 innings. Does have an 0-1 record. Got the loss against Bourne on that walk-off single off John LeGrand. Just an unearned run after LeGrand advanced on that error.
Bouncing ball up the middle and into center field. Leadoff man Ethan Mendoza reaches via a single.
But Halverson has been really solid, multiple innings most times out. 2 his first time, 2 1/3 his next time out. Actually, I think it was a 3-inning relief appearance his first time. That was in the victory against Wareham, their first win of the season. He gave way for Brandon Langley, who got the win that time.
Halverson did go three innings, not just 3 innings. Halvey went 9 up, 9 down to start his night.
Stuff was really playing that night. I think he struck out his first 3.
You know your stuff, Connor Shue. You know your stuff. He did strike out his first 3. 1 on, no out here, top of the 8th. Chopped foul by Jackson Freeman, who is 1 for 1 today. He has worked a pair of walks as well. Has not come around to score. Shadows across the entirety of Lowell Park now. No lights, so this game will go until the sun goes down. Breaking ball just a bit high. Or 9 innings, whichever one comes first. Plenty of fans still around on the Cotuit home side. 2-1. Bouncing ball towards Avincula. He fields, tosses to Farber for 1, on to first for 2. 4-6-3 double play. The defense for Cotuit continuing to shine tonight.
You can just see this whole team figuring it out in real time. This is the same players, but almost a different squad than we saw for the first week of the season.
The 6 runs that Cotuit has today match a season high that was set yesterday against Brewster. The 12 hits are a standalone season high. First pitch, and excuse me swing. Soft tapper. Halvey will pick it up, throw to first. In time! Defense on defense on defense for Cotuit. 1-2-3 inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Cotuit up 6-4. This is Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV.
4-inning start where he didn't allow a hit. Then in his first full inning of work here, didn't allow a hit. And that changed.
Changed when Camden Johnson ticketed Taylor for the first hit he's allowed all season. This ball is hit sky high up above the pitcher's mound, and stepping onto it to make the catch is Gallagher. 1 up, 1 down. Up will step Advincula. And then after Johnson hit that single, again the first hit allowed by Nate Taylor, Rentaro Sasaki. I mean, I'm not going to say that it was expected, but there was a feeling in the air that if there was an opportunity for Cotuit's first home run, it would be off Rentaro Sasaki.
Crowd pop off that one was great, too. The first homer of the season. It's fitting it was off of Sasaki's bat.
I mean, we talked about it leading up to it. The home run, high school home run king in Japan. And it's translated here. Advincula pops one up. This is tailing foul down the third base line, but still with enough ground to make the catch is Gallagher.
Pair of P5s to start the inning. Gallagher catching a couple of pop-ups, showing off that glove.
And none within the third base area, you could say. One was on the pitcher's mound. The other was a couple steps from the Cotuit dugout. So he's covering a lot of ground at third. Wiggins will walk up to the plate. He is 2 for 4 today. A pair of singles. He came around to score. Takes a first pitch ball. Taylor put a little extra juice on it. Lost his cap on the follow through. Fans still sticking around, and this one as night is falling in Cotuit. Only the tops of the trees out in right field illuminated by sunlight. American flag at a dead hang out in left center field. 77 degrees, no wind. It's such a beautiful night for baseball. 1-1. In there for ball 2. I mean, it's t-shirt and shorts weather. Not a cloud in the sky. I mean, there's some way out in left field. This ball's ripped in the gap on the left side and down for a base hit. Wiggins has himself a 3-hit day.
Great day at the plate for him. 3 for 4. Hit that sac bunt to get Advincula over back in the first. He's been playing some really good baseball.
On the opposite side of that, Ryan Farber, the switch hitter, now hitting left-handed, will step up. He is 0 for 4 today. A very rare Ryan Farber stat line. Led the Kettleers in batting average early on in this season. The first 6 games of this summer, he had a hit. But since then, he has been struggling to find that same contact. Defensively, he is still the same, Farber. 0-1, the count on him. Wiggins goes, swung and popped up towards left field in foul ground, ranging over and making the catch is Ace Reese. 3 outs to go for the Kettleers until they get win number 3 of the season. Stay right here on Cape League TV. Wyatt Halverson and the Cotuit Kettleers stand 3 outs away from getting win number 3 on the season. It would be back-to-back wins as well, as the Kets just knocked off Brewster yesterday. It's a first pitch strike to Jake Hanley. 9-1-2 due up for the Anglers. Hanley, Ford, and Freilich. Chopped foul right over the head of the catcher, French. Halverson went 1-2-3, a bit unorthodox. He got Freeman to ground into a double play in the top of the 8th. Halverson set at the belt, a deep breath. Hanley fights him off with a foul ball. Count will stay at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, none out, top of the 9th. Cotuit up by 2. Fouled back again. Jake Hanley not going down without a fight. Hanley today is 2 for 3. A pair of singles. He came around to score. He has an RBI. Looking to give the Anglers some life here. 1-2 the pitch. Swung and fouled off and away into the trees down the left field line. Halverson has been tasked with the closing role for Cotuit already this season. That was against Bourne. 1-2 pitch. Just misses low.
Last night, Albany's got that honor, so I think they're sharing the closer tag for this season. At least it seems like that now.
2-2, no outs. Just a bit outside. Anderson French, the catcher, thought that was strike 3. Got up and was ready to fire down to third, as typical, after a strikeout. Instead, the count has run full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, none out, no one on here. The pitch. Upstairs and away. A leadoff walk worked by Jake Hanley. Up steps the leadoff man, Henry Ford. Tying run at the plate. Ford is 1 for 4 today. His lone hit was a single in the 3rd inning. First pitch swinging is cracked in the air towards right center field. Back at the wall, and it's a game-tying home run from Henry Ford. Back and forth this game has gone, and it continues to go in that manner. Just as quick as Cotuit took their 2-run lead, the Anglers strike back.
That's your answer right there for the Rentaro blast. Henry Ford sent that screaming to right center field, and that was well over the fence, bouncing into the forest.
6-6 the score in this one. An offensive barn burner for 2 teams that have been hovering towards the bottom of their respective divisions. Chopper towards first base, fielding it on a couple hops. Sanderson, and he'll take it himself for out number 1. Gallagher due up. Ace Reese is on deck. Should either of them get on base, Daniel Jackson, the 5-hole hitter for the Anglers, has a bunch of power in his bat. That is not one you want to face this inning. Though the man on deck, Ace Reese, already has a home run today, this is a very lethal part of Chatham's lineup all around. The man up, Gavin Gallagher, he's 0 for 4 today. Has put the ball in the field of play every time. Has not gone down via a strikeout. One and one, the count on him. One out, no one on, top of the ninth. This game has had everything you could want from a Summer League baseball game. Lead changes, strikeouts, home runs. From the fan standpoint, this is just a perfect game of baseball.
It truly is. 3 home runs combined. At this point, 22 hits between the two teams, 6 runs apiece. It's close. It's entertaining. There's been good defense played. Love it.
Gallagher doesn't bite on the breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes will be the count. Wyatt Halverson attempting to settle down on the mound. Taking deep breaths with his gloves set at his belt. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. 2 away.
That's the pitch he needed right there. Deep towards the dirt. Gallagher went fishing. Man, he's hitless today.
Ace Reese, who had a home run in his last plate appearance, will dig in, gripping the black handle of his bat. It will be a righty-lefty matchup. The Cotuit infield and outfield has adjusted accordingly. First pitch is a strike.
Yeah, you gotta go back all the way to the fence when Reese is up.
Give yourself some extra time. That ball can get off Reese's bat in a hurry. 10 hits on the year for Reese. And he's down in this count 0-2. The last hope for the Anglers to take a lead here in the ninth. 0-2, 2 outs. The pitch. Chop towards first base. Sanderson has it, and he'll take it all the way for out number 3. Cotuit will come up to bat in the 9th inning, looking for their second home walk-off win this season. This is Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. And before we go to break, we would like to remind you that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast is strictly prohibited. 3 times today. Those 3 times the leadoff man has come around to score. Anderson French ready. The first pitch to him, big cut and a miss. 89 miles per hour from Nate Taylor. He was topping out at mid-90s early in his outing. One and one. Infield playing at double play depth for Chatham. Outfield straight away. The 1-1 pitch to French. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. French is 1 for 4 today. One and two, no one out. Runner at first. Swung on and popped foul.
So I think it bears mentioning, with the sun setting quickly, there is a chance if this game is to be tied at the end of this inning, it may not continue and end as a tie in the standings.
One, two. Inside, backs up French. Cotuit batters have been walked just 3 times today. One of those is the man standing on first, Nolan Stevens. Here's the 2-2. Inside again. A couple of what we've been calling big league level takes from Cotuit batters this inning, laying off on pitches close to the strike zone. Payoff pitch on the way from Nate Taylor. Runner goes inside. It's ball 4.
Talk about a big league take. Another big breaking ball in the inner part of the plate. French saw it the whole way through, and now Cotuit has the winning run on second with no outs.
The man up is Camden Johnson, who has been an extra base hit machine for the Kettleers, but before a pitch can be offered to him, there will be a meeting on the mound for the Anglers.
Taylor's 42 pitches deep, 2 1/3 innings pitched, and he can go deep into an outing, but it's been a little wild. 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs, no strikeouts.
Runners on first and second for the Kettleers after reaching via some walks. The meeting on the mound has ended. There are a couple arms warming up in the Chatham bullpen. Nearly 10 days ago, Cotuit opened their season at Lowell Park against the Wareham Gatemen. That game was tied at 0 after 9 innings, where we went to extra innings and the Kettleers walked off the Gatemen after scoring 2 in the bottom of the 10th. Looking for some walk-off magic here. Camden Johnson is 2 for 4 today. He has a double, a single. Check that, he's 2 for 3. He also has a sacrifice fly. First pitch to Johnson, showing bunt, lays it down the third base line. That's a perfect bunt. Throw to first, in time to retire Johnson. The Kettleers can't believe it, but they put 2 in scoring position off of that bunt. Lauren Hibbs is going out to talk things over with the first base umpire, Vinny Mariani.
This is the most animated we've seen him running out there to talked to the umpire. He does not agree with the call, to say the least. And that was incredibly close. A bang-bang play at first. It really could have gone either way. It felt like a tie, and typically give that to the runner, so I don't know.
Camden Johnston is still at first base. He's yet to give up his spot. And he'll finally make his way back to the dugout. And up steps the man of the hour, Rentaro Sasaki. In the 7th inning, Rentaro Sasaki blasted a mammoth home run to put the Kettleers up by 2. With 2 on, 1 out, any hit into the outfield should be a game winner. Taylor versus Sasaki. Sasaki takes upstairs. A few Kettleer fans have now stood up from their seats, walked on this brick pavilion, popped up high, tailing foul, and it will land up above the grandstand and out of play.
We're standing up too. Excitement is palpable.
Infield playing shallow, same with the outfield. With runners on 2nd and 3rd, the only thought, not letting a run score. 1-1. Popped up again, this one out of play.
You can tell he's trying to get some launch angle on that baseball. Because you said it earlier, if he puts one in the outfield, fly out, hit, whatever, it's going to score the runner from 3rd.
Stevens is on 3rd. French is on 2nd. Sasaki is at the plate. The pitch. Swing and a miss. The 2nd strikeout of the day for Nate Taylor.
Man, that's just a great pitch. Can't say much else about it. Rentaro, he went for it, did what he was supposed to do, swing up in the zone on it, but that's some high cheddar.
First pitch to Case Sanderson. Check swing, doesn't matter, it was a strike.
Well, we remember what Sanderson did for the first Kettleers win. Singled over the head of the shortstop to get that one in extras against Wareham.
0-1 with 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. Swung and fouled back to the screen. The Kettleers now down to their final strike. No lights here at Lowell Park. Can only assume that this game will be called on account of darkness. No matter the score. 6-6 the score right now. Taylor with a big stretch on the mound. Peering over his glove. A deep breath. Here's the 0-2. Taken upstairs. Infield and outfield no longer playing shallow with 2 outs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch to Case Sanderson. Swung on, foul tipped into the mitt. Taylor is able to work back-to-back 2-out strikeouts. The teams will walk back to their dugout. Don't see any mention that that was the end of the game. Everyone just standing around. It looks like we're playing a 10th inning here at Lowell Park. Game is tied 6-6. We head to extra innings for the 2nd time this season at Lowell Park. This is Cape League Baseball, streaming on Cape League TV, Twitter, and YouTube.
It's the top of the 10th here at Lowell Park. It's all knotted up between Cotuit and Chatham, 6 apiece. Chris Albright, Brooke Kilgore, Sorka Lewis, Riley Lewis with me. Connor Shue back for the top of the 10th. Ryan Buckler, the new pitcher out there for the Kettleers to face off against Daniel Jackson, Ethan Mendoza, and Jackson Freeman, righty, lefty. Ghost runner on second is Ace Reese. Bunt popped foul. We've been treated to a classic game to this point. It's been back and forth the whole way. At one point, the Kettleers possessed a 4-1 lead. Ace Reese hit a long home run to tie this one up 4-4 in the 7th. Then the Kettleers answered with a Rintaro Sasaki 2-run blast to make it a 6-4 ball game. Then it came all the way back around in favor of Chatham with another home run, a 2-run shot off the bat of Henry Ford that tied it. Wyatt Halverson was able to hold it down to keep it 6-6, though. Kettleers could not lock it down. Just off the plate, 1-2. Buckler trying to set down Jackson. So the Kettleers left 2 on to end the bottom of the 9th, and darkness is descending on Lowell Park. They'll have to get this one done quick. Outside corner called strike 3. Ryan Buckler dots up Jackson.
And that's a big first out to get. Jackson led the Anglers coming into this game in home runs. Second in the league, like we've said, an on-base plus slugging percentage. To have that under your belt initially is a great start for Buckler.
Ryan Buckler has thrown 2 scoreless innings as a Kettleer this summer. Here's Ethan Mendoza, a single and 2 walks for him today. The Texas second baseman cracks that one high in the air, foul, tailing to the right. 12 hits or 13 hits for the Kettleers, 9 hits for Chatham. Here in the top of the 10th, it's an 0-1 count to Ethan Mendoza. Ace Reese is on second. He is the ghost runner. Infield with a shift to the right. That pitch drops just a little bit low. It's 1-1. The Kettleers looking to buckle down to give themselves a chance to walk off in the bottom of the 10th, barring darkness. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a chop foul. It's 1-2. One down with a runner on second. Buckler comes set. The 1-2. Hit on the ground. Towards short. Farber throws. Not in time. Runners at the corners with 1 down for Chatham.
Broken bat on that swing. Splinter sent flying towards Buckler. And the broken bat actually slowed the ball down enough. Since it wasn't struck and blasted, it just was a slow dribbler that took Farber a second to get to, and that extra time allowed Mendoza to leg it out.
Now it's Jackson Freeman. Last time up, he grounded into a double play. He has a hit and 2 walks aside from that. Lauren Hibbs not happy with the home plate umpire, telling him to come talk to him with any issue. The home plate umpire, Fred De Jesus, heads back to his post, as does Hibbs. So Anderson French will return behind the plate. And the chirping ends. Everyone's ready again. De Jesus was getting an earful.
That he was.
Resume play. Buckler to Freeman. First pitch. Hit on the ground. Double play ball to second. Short. to first in time. Stays 6-6. The Cats are going to get a chance to walk this one off. And the potential to do it, it's all in the hands of Easton Winfield, Jared Advincula, and Andrew Wiggins. 9-1-2 due up for the Cats in the bottom of the 10th. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 10th. 6-6 ball game, Cotuit Chatham. The Kettleers looking for their second walk-off winner of the season. It's Easton Winfield up first with Case Sanderson, the ghost runner, on second. Then Jaron Advincula and Andrew Wiggins. Winfield is looking for his first hit today. What a time it would be for that. Third baseman Gallagher is pinched in, showing bunt. And there, a ball.
Just a bit high and away.
Nate Taylor in there for his fourth full inning out of the bullpen. He's the man on the mound. He fires. Bunt poked right in front of home. Runner gets to third. The sacrifice works. So a runner on third with one down for Jaron Advincula, the reigning contact king of the Cape. Hit .392 last summer with Cotuit, hitting well over 300 this summer. And all he's got to do is poke one over the heads of the infielders.
Advincula has been clutch for the Kettleers in his summer ball career. Last season, on base, nearly 1 out of every 2 at-bats.
Advincula 2 hits today. Taylor fires. Roped foul. That's a hard hit ball into the trees. 0-1. The whole game has come down to this. Handful of lead changes. Anglers just kept getting back into it. It's 6-6. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Advincula. 0-2. Infield pinched way in. Sanderson at third. 1 down. Advincula. Taylor fires. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Advincula. Now it's all up to Andrew Wiggins, or this one is going to end in a tie.
Wiggins has been phenomenal all day. 3 hits in 4 at-bats.
Oh, and they're going to intentionally walk Wiggins. They like Farber swinging it left-handed more than Wiggins, who has 3 hits and a sac bunt today. So he's on first, and that's going to bring up Ryan Farber, and we were talking about the splits a little bit earlier, but Farber has struggled on the left side of the plate, has had better stats on the right side this season to this point. He bats .333 on the right side. And then on the left, Farber, 182 average. On the left, he's 0 for 5 today, but he's had a hit in almost every game this summer. He's facing the right-hander Taylor. Again, Farber, the switch hitter, batting left-handed. Farber last flew out to left field in the 8th. He faces off against Nate Taylor, who has done a great job since his first couple of innings, has really buckled down. He's through 3 2/3, or actually a full 4 to this point. Runner goes. Wiggins is just going to take second. One-0 count to Farber. A deep breath. Farber hitless today. Taylor deals. Socked into left field. Tailing back to get it is Reese for out number 3. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 10th and the entire ball game. It ends in a tie, 6-6. Kettleers knotted up with Chatham till the end. And man, you could just feel the win right at the fingertips, but so close, yet so far.
It's a gritty tie for the Kettleers. And I never like to use this language because a point is a point in this league. It's a tie that just stings a little bit like a loss.
Yeah, you can't put it much better than that. A lot of opportunities to potentially walk that off if you're the Kettleers with some of your best bats up, but just couldn't quite get that walk-off hit. 6-6. They led 6-4 in the 8th after a Rintaro Sasaki blast. Wyatt Halverson allowed 2 off a 2-run blast of Chatham's own Henry Ford. Made it a 6-6 ball game, and no one could score from the bottom of the 9th to the bottom of the 10th. So Cotuit now 2-7-1, and Chatham, their 3rd tie of the young season. They're 2-5-3.
I mean, you want to spin this positively for Cotuit. That's back-to-back games without a loss for the Kettleers, who came into the game against Brewster yesterday, riding a 6-game losing streak. And to have a win followed up by a tie, you take it how it is. That's 3 points that are pretty impactful on the standings.
And they sure are, especially when you're at the bottom half. You will take, obviously, you would much prefer a win, especially after you get 13 hits as a team and play nearly errorless baseball. That was maybe the most complete performance we've seen from Cotuit yet. They played incredibly in the win yesterday, but again, 13 hits, some incredible plays from all facets of the defense, some really good pitching for the most part in this one, but just couldn't get it done in the end.
I mean, this feels weird to say. If anything could have fallen Cotuit's way more, it should have been the bullpen. The bullpen that came into this game leading the Cape League and overall just has been what has been an incredible season for the bullpen. I mean, the starting pitching today for Cotuit was solid. Manka delivered 4 innings of 1-run ball, only allowed 4 hits. And then you look at the guys who came in relief, Kroll, Walker, and Halverson, each of them allowing at least 1 earned run. Something just very uncharacteristic.
And this is going to be one of those rare ones where you put /// in the winning pitcher, losing pitcher, and save totals in your scorebook, which it doesn't really feel right, Chris. I tell you what.
No, not for playing for a tie. I mean, you understand it here on Cape. You don't want to extend these games longer than you have to, especially because there's not an abundance of pitching. You don't want to overwork a bullpen or two. Overall, just interesting finish in a game that was otherwise a perfect night of baseball.
It was beautiful. 85 degrees at the first pitch, a very light breeze. out to center field. And all around great hitting. You saw the first Kettleers homer of the summer as, again, welcome to your Kettleers postgame show. Chris Albright, Connor Shue with you. But, man, you just want a win after you have a performance like that. A lot of first. The bats just looked incredible. But I can't harp on it much more than I already am. You just hate to have a tie, especially like this.
A lot of bang-bang plays in this one. I mean, it was just close down to the end. It was one of those where if a ball was hit a foot left or a foot right of where it might have been on some of these grounders, gets away from an infielder, maybe a throw to first base is just a quarter of a second later. I mean, this is a totally different ball game, but for what it was gritty baseball through and through. I mean, 23 hits combined today. The bats were alive for both squads who were coming into this one needing a burst of offensive firepower.
And they got a burst of offensive firepower, that's for sure. 2 home runs for Chatham off the bats of Ace Reese and then Henry Ford. Rentaro Sasaki with the first blast for the Cotuit Kettleers, and it's been a long time coming. So I think that's a great takeaway we can bring with us and the team can bring with them after this game. The power is continuing from these last couple of games. The extra base hits are coming, a couple of doubles. Camden Johnson got himself one, but it just ended a little soiled. 6-6 is your final score. Cotuit, 13 hits, 1 error, 12 left on base. That's another one that they're probably going to be thinking about for a little bit. Chatham, 6 runs on 10 hits, no errors, and 8 left on base. So each of these teams, frankly, after great offensive performances, had a lot left on the table.
A lot left on the table is a great way to put it. I think a win, at some points today, a win was in hand for both squads. I don't think it's unfair to say that just as much as Cotuit could have walked away with a win today, so could have Chatham. I mean, again, just 2 really even teams. 2 really even squads played baseball today.
It was a really entertaining game here at Lowell Park and a fun evening here in the broadcast booth. So for Chris Albright, for Brooke Kilgore, Sorka Lewis, Riley Lewis, I'm Connor Shue. And for now,
I'm going to stop you right there. Before we let you go, a quick shout-out to the third member of our team, Brooke Kilgore. You can catch all of her post-game interviews on the Cotuit Kettleers YouTube channel. We encourage you to go listen to the great questions she asks Coach Hibbs and our team.
Thank you again. That's a good call. Brooke Kilgore, she does some great work out there. But that's it for all of us here tonight on June 25th at Lowell Park. Despite the tie, it was a lot of fun. Good night, everybody.